I've studied over 75 scholarly books. Okay, but I'm like young Sheldon. That's what he is. He's young Sheldon. Reading 75 books the last 9 months. It's not addressing the root of why AI generation is a problem. It's just saying you can't call yourself an artist. I don't care as much about that. You're in a kitchen with a supernatural, hyper-obedient chef who has memorized every recipe, technique, and plating style in history. They think AI is magic. Oh my God. Look at these faces, man. Look at these faces. They all make the same faces. They can't make a smile. The AIs can't make, well, not a smile. They can't make a face. They all make very similar faces. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's disgusting. Ah, look at it. Look at all that like fading and like, it's just so off. This must be an older model, this AI. I think it's gotten better now. 5 hours ago, I guess not. Data centers use water. They're draining our aquifers and you're shut. We have found an infinitely renewable source of salt water, chilling our compute infrastructures. Auntie's tears. Bat 67. Okay. Bat 67 of 1E. Okay. All right. I have been got. You see, I have been defeated in the marketplace of ideas. You have AI generated me as the color. Of course, it's also the colored hair. You know, just to let you know, wouldn't be inherently political, but I think it's pretty clear the side of the person that you're trying to say this is, and by extension, the side of the opposite side. Why the elf ears? But yeah, I have been so defeated in the marketplace of ideas. Dude, I always dress like this. This is actually how I dress. I just dress like this in my videos. This is how I go outside with a little thing. I like how one anti-AI shirt is anti-AI with anti and then AI on the second thing, but the other guy is anti-AI just on the top of the shirt. It's just anti-AI. What's down here? That like this person anti-AI covers their whole shirt. Theirs is different with the like different eye. Man, I'm always wearing this. This is actually, how did they know my fit? How did they know? What are these like medals? Look at this. This is my favorite part. The peace sign. The peace sign on isn't this the person you're against? Like it's clearly like hippie leftist SJW 2016 tier. Man, I thought we were past this. Okay. Am I gonna talk about the wall? Oh, it got 0 upvotes. I'm gonna give that. Yeah, -1 to your upvote. Was that petty? Should I not do that? Nah, you know what? I don't know. Feel like I should just be neutral on it. Nah, I'm not gonna make I don't need to downvote you. I don't need to give you the satisfaction. Forgetting that AI centers use fresh water. Also, the tiers would still require someone to drink fresh water. Most of it are taking it seriously. They're taking it serious. Okay, yeah. They're forgetting that AI centers use fresh water. Also, the tiers would still require someone to drink fresh water. Most of it not being tiers, so it would be like less of fish. Boom. Roasted in the marketplace of ideas. OP, oh my God, they're defending it. That's oh my goodness. I mean, it's comic book logic. Yes, they know it's comic book logic. They know they're not taking you seriously. But I guess you've earned a hint as to what's going on tomorrow. Nothing is wasted. Just wait until you see we're getting the power from Auntie's salt. What is this? Is this like your character? Man, how cringe would that be if you're like, you have like, cause I have like, look at my little like drawings. They're next to me. My little, my little Jackson Finale one where I'm holding the book. That's for the, the main channel with movies and TV shows, and the gaming channel where we're holding the GameCube controller. Those were drawn by my lovely fiance. Oh man, chat wants me to downvote. Okay, all right, this is chat's downvote. It's not my downvote. I'm above it. Chat wanted it. It deserves the -1. It deserves the -1. All right, I'm a man of the people. I guess we don't all have lovely fiancés who draw them in cartoon form. with much lighter hair than they actually do in real life. Yes, I know my little drawing guy is blonde. It didn't look as good with hair that was closer to mine. We workshopped it. I get it, I have someone who loves me, who makes it for me. But like, it's so cringe. Like imagine that. Imagine being like, yeah, like make my like guy, like generate my guy. It's just so cringe. Why the elf ears? Why the elf ears? Freaking oh, does this one deserve a -1? This one gets a -1. That one's from me. You get a -1. Yeah, friggin' epic with your -1. Oh no, not another bland, pointless AI comic with no argument other than my opponents are upset, therefore I win. You and your uninspired AI OC have really shown us now. Oh, no one's addressing the water argument. No one's addressing the water argument. Do I have to address the water argument? I think the water argument is boring. The water argument is so boring, guys, for AI. I don't even care about the water. It could use no water. I'd still be anti-AI. It could be like, bro, it could be good for the environment. And if every time they generated an image, it like grew a like fully grown tree, I would still be anti-AI. I don't give a nothing about the water argument. It doesn't matter, because it's all like it's such a, what's funny? I don't even know, because I see things all the time. I need to like actually like sit and research it. But like, does AI use water, like, or whatever? Because there's like things where it's like, oh yeah, AI uses like all this water, like it's like so bad for water, and they're like, no, like actually like it like recycles the water or whatever, or like it uses less water than like a hamburger or whatever. Like every time you eat a hamburger, it uses like 10 times more water than like AI. But like, what's the like thing? It's so dull. Like I don't care about the water. I don't care about the water. I don't care about the, I mean, like I do care about the water. Like it's not good to use water for things that are stupid. Like why, like we should use water for stuff that's like cool and awesome, like water parks. I guess one thing that I do find compelling with the like environmental impacts of AI is these like towns where like they can't even open their windows because it smells so bad because of like grok. So that grok can like harass women and like undress them without their consent and like generate like bad stuff of children. So grok can do that, like a whole town has to smell bad. Like, I think that there is virtue in pointing that out because, like, I guess, like, even if that data center wasn't, grok the women and children harassing machine, like, even if that data center wasn't that, it would still be wrong. Like, even if it was, like, the data center for, like, if it was the super cool Google Search Plus, life-changing, changes research, does all this great stuff. Even if it was that, you still wouldn't want to like ruin a whole town and make it like stinky to live in a town. Like that's a pretty messed up thing to do. It's not the crux of my argument. My argument is not really, if people cared about like the environmental impact of stuff, we wouldn't have cars. And we should argue against cars for their environmental impact. Like there are, reasonable things that we should do to try and have more like trains or whatever, congestion pricing in New York City, very useful policy, all that stuff. Like there are things that we should do that is like better for the environment, but it does not resonate with people. Like if you want to do something about AI sooner, the water thing is not gonna help. The water thing is a lost cause. OpenAI is rapidly losing money and is projected to lose $14 billion in 2026 alone. If they can't get another round of funding, OpenAI could run out of money as soon as 2027. So that's been pretty big in the news lately. So let's see what some of the people of Reddit are saying about this. Some version of this headline has been making the rounds since like ChatGPT 3. I don't even use their products anymore, and frankly, I couldn't care less, but they aren't going anywhere. They know exactly how much they are burning, as does Microsoft and the other giants currently keeping them afloat. This isn't news. Have I been seeing versions of this headline since... I don't know when ChatGPT 3 came out. I'm not like all hip on whatever thing they have, whatever time. This person has _AI in their thing, so they might be a little biased. Oh no, I don't even use their products anymore, so it doesn't seem like this person. Why do you underscore AI in your name? You say you don't use their products anymore. You just use different AI products. They know exactly how much they are burning, as is Microsoft and other giants keeping their flow. But like, isn't that the problem though? Like, they are burning, they don't make money. Like, that's the whole problem with a lot of this stuff, is that it doesn't actually make a profit because it's so like useless what it actually does. Like, it's just like either like a search engine or like you're pretending that you're talking to like Harry Potter or whatever, and like that's like all that it like does, and it's not actually something that someone is going to like pay a subscription for. Like, a big thing that is keeping a lot of this stuff up is the fact that it's free. Like, it's kind of a big problem. It's kind of like similar to what like Walmart did, you know, like the whole like thing where you have like a Walmart and it's all cheaper and it drives out all of the local business, and then once all the local business is out, then like Walmart just charges what the local businesses were already charging. It doesn't like really like help. I don't know the exact like data and all that, but that's like kind of my general understanding of that sort of thing, is like, or like streaming was like really cheap. Like Netflix was like, wow, it's too good to be true. And then it was. Not that I think that AI is good at all. I don't use it. I think it's nonsense. I don't know how you monetize such a thing. Like, they're throwing all this like money around. And what I kind of see from like the initial like headline is like the idea that they throw all this money around to try and make this thing a thing because it's powerful, because it shifts things around, because it's this buzzword that does this thing. But it's kind of seeing, you know, the idea of the bubble popping and sort of that thing. This poster might be in denial about how much everyone else wants AI gone. I mean, I wish you were right, but like, people who are more like in it, like the common person isn't thinking that as much as one would hope. It's very normalized to a lot of regular people. I don't think it's so much that people want it gone or want it around. I think it's that too many people just don't really care one way or the other. And I think that that's a major issue. How do you feel about school teaching about AI? For example, I had a schoolwork last year where we had to make AI generate a song. That's horrible. That sounds awful. I think that schools should teach about AI in the sense that they should teach you not to use it. They should teach you. So you had a schoolwork where they had AI generate a song in like a music class, because like if you're in a music class in the modern day, the first thing they should tell you is if you use AI to make music, you're not a musician. I mean, like the example you provided is just very dystopian. It was in biology class. We had to make a song about biology topics. Well, that's not conducive to learning about biology at all. Like that's two problems. The only way they could stay afloat is with investor money. It raises concerns of their sustainability. If AI can't turn a profit, you're less likely to get more investors. Exactly. What are you going to profit from? Like, you either are going to have to put a bunch of ads on it, or like make people pay for it. Like, people aren't going to pay a subscription to have a thing like generate a recipe for them when they, or like whatever, like little thing when like Google is there. Like, there's going to be a much smaller amount of people. Like, sure, there's like some of those people who are really, you know, they like talk to it like a therapist or whatever, which is horrible. Like, you should not do that. But there is going to be that like small minority that are going to do it. But I just don't see something like this getting monetized in that sort of way. Why does every AI app use the 4-pointed star as an icon? The reason that the AI things use like a star, and I think some of them use a wand too, is they want you to think that it's magic. You might know, because you're watching something like this and are interested in the topic, that the way that AI makes stuff is to scour the internet and put and throw it in a thing and pop it out at you. Like, you know that, and I know that, but not everyone knows that. And there are people that it's not that they literally think it's magic. Like, it's not that they click it and they think that there's like a wizard that does it. It's that they don't think about what it is at all. So it kind of is just like magic to them. And by having imagery like this, I think some of these are jokes. Are these all real? These might be jokes. I know like that's real. Like I know there's a lot of imagery like this, but that's kind of the idea is they want you to feel, they don't want to trick you. Like they're not literally being like, oh, believe it's magic, like obfuscate it. They just want you to feel like it's magic, because if you feel like it's magic, you don't question where it actually comes from. I miss when AI was only used by singular people for fun instead of by capitalists wanting to make easy bucks, megacorps, not artists. Bro, it's bad the other way you're describing. First of all right, so this is silly what this person is saying. And the reason it's silly is for two things. One, used by like singular people for fun. Like, what do you mean like for fun? To have fun and write silly skits. So that means like creative writing. You wanted this thing to write like a skit for you that you would like put on the internet or whatever, like what you're kind of saying here. So you're already saying something like that is creatively bankrupt. The idea that you want to use this thing for making skits or having fun, to have fun. What's fun about, like, I just don't get like the idea of like the thing talks back to you. It's so, I mean, like, I guess it's hard to deny that people find it fun because people clearly do. What you're saying with this, like what are you trying to communicate with something like this is like, there's no regulation where you can have the AI just be for you, just for regular people and not used by megacorps or the capitalists, as you say it. Like, of course that was going to happen. Like, if you can use it to write silly skits, then the big corporations can use it to write all of your movies. And you know what? It's just as bad relative to a silly skit as it is relative to a movie to use a computer to write it. It's bad either way. It's just that because it's a silly skit, it feels smaller. So obviously that doesn't feel as bad as like the next Marvel movie has a generated superhero or whatever. Like that feels a lot worse, but they're both bad relative to their thing. They're both doing the same negative thing. They're both creating something that doesn't have human intent. So that's like the two things is like, it was bad what you're describing, the past that you're describing was also bad, and the thing that you're saying is impossible to regulate. Either you regulate AI away and you fight against it, megacorps and common people can't use it, or it's around and common people and megacorps also use it. If you have the silly animals, it's gonna ruin the arts. You can't have it both ways. It's not possible. A mood. Mine was a aid back when it was the AI RP option. It's been fascinating seeing how the options have evolved since then. Absolutely sucks having people conflate liking AI with the replace all human artists. Well, but you are though. Like that's the problem is if you like AI, you want it to. Well, replace all human artists is a bit much, but if you like it, it will replace. It will not replace. It will diminish. Like there's no way it's going to replace human artists, but it will diminish. It's diminishing returns. So like if you're someone who likes like things that generate images, the continued existence of things that generate images will start to infiltrate the arts. And the way it will infiltrate the arts is not a way that you'll expect. So there is not ever going to be a time where a computer generates a whole movie without any human input. It will never happen. The only way that could happen is if you actually made the computer alive like a person, which would be, I think, morally wrong. We should not. It also might not be possible. It sounds like science fiction to me. I don't believe that it actually could happen. I'm not saying it definitely can't, but I don't believe that could happen. But if it could, we shouldn't do it. So that will never happen because the things that people do that like make movies, it can't replicate. There are things that only we can do that a computer can't replicate. It cannot replicate our brains. Our brains create a thing, our consciousness, our perspectives, where we just make conscious choices. And a computer can never really do that. It can make choices within a range with some element of random choice. And like 1, 2, 3, pick 1, 2, 3, 4, but instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1 through a billion for something as big as an AI. So what actually is going to happen is you're going to see what I think is the most dangerous application of generative AI, which is AI first draft, human second draft. This is the most dangerous application of AI. Making like what we refer to as AI slop, like a TikTok post where literally no person touched it. It just like posted a thing. Like it's literally just not even human touched. That stuff is bad. It's terrible, but it's not that dangerous because it will always be nonsense. What is dangerous is having, let's say, an animated movie and you generate parts of the animated movie and then you go in and you touch up the rest. This is kind of what they did with that Coca-Cola ad for the Christmas. It's kind of that. It's not entirely that because they didn't fully touch it up. They just put it together. And the reason that that is so dangerous is that when you use AI first draft, human second draft, the first draft has had a removal of human intent, and that weakens the final product. Unless the second draft with the human removes everything the AI first draft did, which if it did, what would be the point of even having AI generate anything? If you're having it generate anything, it's because you want the person to come in and it's because you want the person to do less work so that you want the AI to do work. So you want stuff that the AI did to stay in there. You will get a weaker product. If this was a thing that was widely adopted, even by like 20% of the arts, even 5% of the arts, this would be catastrophic. Not only because it would make our media landscape worse, it would make it less entertaining, but it would remove human intent from the arts. And this is why also on my channel, I focus so much on arts having a social function of broadening perspectives and teaching lessons. There's a reason that that's important. We are where we are, and obviously we're not in the best place. We are at least in a better place because of what the arts provides. And I view AI as a threat for that. And liking AI is not what the AI will replace all human artists crowd. Liking AI is the I want those diminishing returns crowd. You can't really have both. There's no way to regulate it where it's like, oh yeah, like you can have it to make like silly cat videos, but like, oh, like a big corporation can't use it. There's no way to do that. You're going to need the data centers. The thing's going to be out of the bottle. And also like, what do I care about stupid cat videos that, you know, there's so many great cat videos that people took video of their cats with. Like, it's fine. There's no shortage of it. We don't need to generate them. It's fine. We can get rid of that if it also gets rid of the rest of it. It's funny, I just started watching this live video after watching my anti-AI video earlier, and agreeing and disagreeing with your points, but overall it was a fantastic take on the circumstances. Oh, what points did you disagree with? I would love to hear. It's gonna diminish nothing? How would it not? You're saying AI is gonna diminish nothing. The lack of human intent in writing, in the arts, makes the thing worse. That is the thing that is good about everything that you like, everything that you've ever watched, that you've enjoyed. The parts of it that you enjoyed were because of human intent, because a person intended this thing that you enjoyed. AI is not capable of making that. It never will be. I have a diagram in my anti-AI video where it's 3 big circles. The biggest circle, I'm talking about writing specifically in it, but it applies to all the other generation. But the biggest circle is all possible sentences that could ever be made. Any combination of words. And that is a number that is so big, there's not even a name for it. There's so many zeros, you know, more than stars in the observable universe. Then you have a smaller circle. And that's all of the sentences that AI can generate, because AI is not random. It does generate things based on things that it steals. But there is a finite amount of things that it can generate. There's a finite amount of words in the English language. Then picture an even smaller circle, and that smaller circle is writing that would resonate with us. If you watch a show and that show is not very good, that means that the writer has failed to resonate with you. This means that there are certain things that writers can do that resonate with audience and certain things that don't. If this was not true, then every movie would be equally liked. But that's not true. Some people like movies more than others. Some movies are more successful than others. Some TV shows are more successful than others. So that means that there is something that people do that resonates with people when they make movies. And this is a thing that AI would never be able to know what to do. There's too many numbers in that second large circle. There's too many different combinations. Whereas in the smallest circle, with the human intended writing, some of that might overlap with the generative AI. The generative AI thing might hit it right. But that number would be so small, it's like a monkey typing Shakespeare. As a writer, I tend to use AI to help edit since I'm autistic and have used it to edit things I've written. So usually it'll help me refine my points because I'm bad at explaining things. What do you mean to help edit? What does to help edit mean? Before I disagree with you, can you clarify what you mean by help edit? What does that mean? Like, what does that do? You type something and then what? What does it do to help edit? So before I doesn't sound good to me what you're saying, but before I fully break it down, it's not going to diminish art. Same guy says going to diminish art. Like, great. Can you provide an actual argument, please? Like what I did, where I provided an actual argument? Because just saying it's going to diminish nothing, that's actually not an argument. You need a if-then statements. If this, then this. So get back to me with that. What are your opinions on using it on schoolwork? Don't. You're not learning. You mean like to write your essays? You're supposed to write the essay. The essay is supposed to be the proof of you understanding the topic. But also, if you're talking about like searching like to help you with homework, like if you're writing an essay, it's like, what is this? Probably should try a Google search. I discussed this a little bit in my main video on it. One of the problems with it is that it's generating text to like give you quick information, when what it should do is just give you the direct information. I would just avoid it entirely when doing your schoolwork. You're gonna diminish your learning. You're gonna weaken your ability to learn. In a post-generative AI world, we should still have whatever the computer does to search up like the exact phrases that it uses to steal. It should just give you the exact thing that it was gonna use to write its response. You know what I mean? It should be like Google Search Plus, like a better Google search. Like instead of it giving you a link to an article, it gives you the exact sentence from the article because it's that good at finding it, but that exact sentence was written by a person in the article. It just brought it right to you. A machine can't make art because it can't truly think yet. All it can make is an approximation of art. Wait, so you're agreeing with me? I was confused. You said it's not gonna, this is the same person who said it's not gonna diminish art, but you just said that AI is not gonna diminish art, but you just gave an argument for why it would. I thought you're on my side. Basically using it for grammar, spelling, and phrasing. Not sure I'm explaining this correctly. You mean like Grammarly? That like goes through your words and says like maybe you could use this, or like a thesaurus. Spelling and phrasing. I'm gonna say I don't fully know for sure exactly what you're discussing. If it's like rewriting whole sentences for you, I'd avoid that. If you have it like grammar and spell check has been around forever. Spell check is fine. You're so fine. I'd say just be careful if it's rewriting sentences for you, because if it's rewriting sentences for you, not only is that gonna be a tell that you're not writing your own stuff, which is not good to whoever you're presenting this to. People will know on some level. They will maybe not be able to specifically call it out, but they will feel weaker. Just be careful about the phrasing. If something is rewriting your words for you, is rewriting your whole sentences, I would avoid that. Having something that would provide a list of sources would be 10 times better. Yeah, that's what I advocate for. And the fact that AI is trying to make it sentences is actually like a huge problem. Like that's like it's actually obfuscating what could be world-changing technology. Why bother? This sub came up in my feed and I was wondering regarding the whole debate in general, why bother? None of it is going to change anything. AI is here, it's here to stay, and it's a juggernaut. That's the reality. Arguing pros or cons isn't going to change that one bit. Ranting against AI is like trying to stop an aircraft carrier with a kayak. You're not even going to slow it down. It won't even feel you as it runs you over. In that regards, though, neither pro or anti position matters. If you're pro, the anti-rhetoric is inconsequential and can be safely ignored. If you're anti, your rhetoric is blah, 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 blah. This is defeatism. I'm going to guess that this person is pro AI who's saying this, or at the very least doesn't care, like is probably just more of a person who doesn't care. I mean, if this sub came up in their feed, they must care a little bit, but this is a horrible argument for anything. It's a bit of a strong one, but like there were abolitionists, you know, people who were against slavery in the 1600s who lived and died in a world where slavery existed. And I bet they felt like they were going up against an aircraft carrier with a kayak. I actually talked a bit about this where I was talking about seatbelt laws and how like it takes a long time to have like regulation, to have stuff. I guess I'm in a bit of a different position. Like I have a YouTube channel. So like I made an anti-AI video that thousands of people watched. So like I guess I feel a little more power over the situation. Not that I have a huge amount of power over the situation, but that definitely is a different feeling than like some random Redditor who probably, you know, you can sit and type out a whole essay on a Reddit and like you're not going to get a lot of attention. Like I at least knew when I put out my anti-AI video that I was going to get a good amount of people who were going to look at it. But this isn't really about AI. This is more just about why debate things that are bigger than you because it's right. Like because you feel like you want to speak out against something that you are against. Never think this way about anything. Don't think why, but this is a defeatist attitude. Whatever this is, if you think this, why bother? The side that you are against benefits from that, about AI, about anything. And no, it's really not a juggernaut. It's not what you think it is. Like there's still, like these things have been around for a while. They're capable of doing things. We're still not seeing a lot of this stuff in movies and TV shows. We are not seeing widespread adoption. I'm not saying it won't happen and that we shouldn't be worried about it. It is not the juggernaut that you think it is. I used to be very anti-AI, mostly because it was unreliable. Early on, every time I asked it about things I already understood, it hallucinated or confidently got details wrong, which made it worse than useless. After disability started making normal cognitive and organizational tasks harder, I had to reevaluate. Used carefully, AI turned out to be a support tool. It is not and should not be a replacement for thinking, but it is something that helps me organize, draft, regain momentum. My brain will cooperate. That's why the debate matters to me. AI is not going away, but the way it can be framed and taught determines whether it becomes a crutch, amplifier, or source of harm. I don't like this take. This is a very common thing with AI, and I'm not gonna fall for it. The idea that like having like a disability or something, like you're looking for a carve out. That's what this is. This is what this is. This is a carve out. Oh, I carve it out for me because of this. It makes it. And I don't know this person's exact situation, but here's what I say about this is I don't want to diminish whatever this person is going through because what they're going through could be very difficult, could be more difficult than anything I've ever personally experienced. But what I say about the idea that having some sort of disability that you use AI to get around is basically either it's good or it's not. That's really the end of it. It's not good if you have a disability and then not good for everyone else. That's not how it works. Like it's so like why bring up the disability at all? You know, if you have an argument for how this thing is a support tool for you, then just argue how it could be a support tool. Because are you saying it's good for you but bad for everyone else? Because if it's bad for everyone else, it's also bad for you. If it makes you worse at thinking, if it diminishes your critical thinking skills in your task, which is my position on it, I guess what this person's talking about is like using like ChatGPT to like look up a recipe or whatever, or like have a list of things they should do in their day or something, which might be fine. I don't entirely know what this person is talking about. Like if you have like a thing that like goes through your calendar and gives you a list of the things that you need to do, that's not generative AI. That's actually another big problem with this whole AI is a buzzword. Because first of all, AI doesn't exist. There's no such thing as artificial intelligence. It's not intelligence. It's a science fiction word. It doesn't exist. I have to use the word because everyone uses the word. You know, I can't just abstain from using the word just because the word actually makes no sense. But anyway, the whole thing, it has this umbrella of stuff where it gets really hard to really understand what this person is talking about. Like, maybe all this person does is have it like work out their schedule for the week or whatever, which is like fine. It's not fine in the sense that it generates text. I think that something should not generate text. But on a personal level, you can't really control that. You can't go to the big OpenAI office and be like, hey, can I have a version that doesn't generate text and just gives me the information? You can't do that. There's nothing you can do about that. So you might get stuck with that sort of thing. So like this person might be fine. They shouldn't bring the disability into it with like a sort of like maybe you can like share your story or whatever, you know. You're kind of making it so that you can't argue against, because then it's like, oh, like you don't understand like what I'm going through or whatever. And I think that in such conversations, you should not fall for it. You should be like, basically that's the more equitable idea. Like the idea of that we are all the same, we are all equal. If you think AI is bad for everyone, if you hear a person who has like a disability who says like, oh, I like use it for this, that, and the other thing, I use it to write my essays because I like, let's say let's give a concrete example, because we're talking so like this person was, I don't know what this person's disability is. So they're very vague. So I'm not talking about this person specifically. Let's say a hypothetical person, let's say someone has dyslexia and they think that because they have dyslexia, they can use AI to write essays. Well, using AI to write essays makes anyone who does that less intelligent. It makes them less thoughtful. It's bad for everyone who does it. Why would I want to say, oh yeah, you have dyslexia, you should use the thing that harms your cognitive ability? Wouldn't that be ableist of me to think that this person should have it worse off? You know, like I should, you know, because obviously my position is not only that the individual should abstain from it, but that it should be banned entirely or regulated entirely. It should be regulated to not generate text. So you would not be able to write an essay with it. So if anything, that's my way of looking at things in a way of equality. I'm not really for AI. I just think that there are some nuances. I think adoption of AI will weirdly make authentic art more valuable. Well, I mean, everything has nuance. I have heard this a lot, and I do think about it a lot, that yeah, adoption of AI will make authentic art more valuable. I think that is true. Like, I think that there is going to be some kind of like appreciation for authentic art in a way that like we haven't looked at it before because of that context. That doesn't mean that AI is good. If anything, that means that it's more bad. I think really what you might be thinking is like, you got to define the parts of this that are bad, and the parts of it that are bad for me is generative AI, generating an image, generating text, generating a human sounding voice, generating music, generating video. Those are the five things. Generating those things without human intent. That is what is bad. That is the enemy. You want to organize your schedule coming up? That's fine. You know, you need a thing. I do this. If you're making a YouTube short or a vertical thing and it puts in the text that you already said, that's fine. They call it AI. They say it's AI. It's not it's not generative AI. None of it's AI. Again, it's all nonsense term. That's not generative AI because it generates text, but the text that it's generating is the text that I wrote, because I wrote it and then I set it into a camera, and then the computer saw that I said the text that I wrote and it put it on the thing. It just saves me the trouble of typing it out. There's no human intent in typing out a thing that I already said. There's human intent in the initial writing process. The initial thing that I wrote required human intent, and that's why I wrote it myself from my own brain. But it typing it onto a screen so that I can make a YouTube short is not the same. On the topic of the name, the idea of calling it artificial intelligence seems to me like another way to get people on board on it, like how the icons try to evoke a feeling of magic. 100%. It's all language. It's a control of language. Why AI music has little value, in my opinion. Rewrite. Hi, before I begin, I would like to mention a couple things. The human expression in art is what gives it value for me, even when AI contributes. Disagree. That's even when AI contributes is AI first draft, human second draft. I mean, obviously the human expression is still there because in the second draft, the human was there. but we need to draw a line. So when AI is used anywhere in a first draft, we need to consider that creative work invalid. That is, so I already disagree with you, because we must do that. It's not like, clearly the human expression would still be there, but we have to consider the whole thing invalidated if AI is used anywhere in the creative process. If we start to accept it for that, it's going to be everywhere. We're going to get diminishing returns, and we will harm the arts as a whole. AI music generators cannot understand music theory concepts such as chord, structure, pitch, rhythm, etc. They only understand genres in prompts. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know a lot about AI music generators. In my opinion, AI music has little value due to the lack of human input. Well, I agree with that. The information you give to an AI music generator usually includes a prompt that specifies genres, instrumentations, general mood, purpose, speed, etc., lyrics, other music to cover or extend. You specify the genre, instrumentations, general mood, purpose, speed, and lyrics. So you don't tell it to make the lyrics? Or do you put some lyrics and it generates others? Other music to cover or extend. Wow, that is terrifying that you put in all that stuff. Like, that makes it so... That is so much work to do no work. Right? Like, specifies genres, instrumentation, general purpose, speed, put in music, lyrics. Dude, you're already there. Just pick up a guitar. Like, if you do all this stuff, you already know so much. Why are you're right at the finish line and you just ruin everything at that point. That's crazy. I did not like, obviously this is a more complicated version. I'm sure you can go into these like Suno whatever and be like, make me a country song, and it does. But I bet when you do it more specific, like these ones that are a little more dangerous, you know, like how there's like the country song, that was the AI country song that topped the charts, and the AI religious song that topped the charts. Kind of telling that those groups of people were the ones who, where the music was the top. I think that might say something. It usually does not include chords, specific rhythm, structure, pitch, key. Why would it not? I mean, I guess chords would make sense. Why would it not though? Wouldn't you be able to, like, if you can specify genre, instrumentation, mood, purpose, speed, wouldn't you be able to put these in? Does it just not understand that yet? Or it never could? Because the only thing that I am positive that it never could understand is the feeling, the awareness of what makes music connect with people. Because the point of music is to elicit an emotion out of the listener. That is the point of music. These things are usually not included because the generator cannot understand them. Okay, so the generator can't understand these things. Possibly never can. I could see that. I don't know enough about music to really make a concrete statement about it. However, they are what makes music human, because that is where most of the creativity and expression lies. Lyrics and other music provided, mostly made by humans, can also make the output more human because that is expression. Again, that's the hard part. Obviously, in this sense, it's human first draft, AI second draft, which I guess is just as bad. But I usually say AI first draft, human second draft. I think is, but I'd say the other way around is also bad. But that's what I'm talking about here. Is that these are the things that obfuscate that it was AI generated. That's probably what happened with those ones that like topped the charts or whatever, is they had stuff that was human in there. It's very bad. It's like, the only solution is to ban it. Like, it's the only solution. Or you're just going to get nonsense like this. We're going to be looking at everything. We're going to be looking at everything like that guy in Dexter from the memes, you know, like that's like, unless you ban it, it's the only way. If the purpose of the music being generated is to convey the message shown by your lyrics, then expression via music theory becomes relatively unimportant. A song that has lyrics conveys its message through lyrics and the music. If it's just conveying its message through the lyrics, then it's a poem and it doesn't need music at all. If your music doesn't convey an emotion, it's just it's noise. It's not music at that point. Using an AI to generate ideas for music, then writing that music, I would say, is mostly human but AI inspired. Disagree. AI inspired. You contradict yourself. AI inspired. Double think right there. AI inspired. Pick one. You can't be inspired if you are not human, because you don't have a perspective. You can even generate music with AI and then take the ideas from that and write it. Nope, no, you can't. Don't do this. You're not a real musician if you do this. You are a hack. The degree that you use these ideas also affects the human expression in the music. For example, just chords. Bro, like look at all this like gymnastics. Like just talk to any it's funny. I'm the only I have a brother, sister, and I have a bunch of cousins. Of like a bunch of people in my family, I am one of like the only ones who has never played an instrument. One of the only ones. I did a lot of creative stuff. I was interested in acting. I was interested in writing. There was a lot of other stuff I was interested in. But I was the only one I never played an instrument. I briefly practiced the bass guitar. All of the people who I knew in my family who were musicians mostly played the guitar, mostly started at the guitar. The idea of like a kid learning music is like you sit in your room and you like fiddle with a guitar. Like, what is this nonsense? Then writing the music is mostly human but AI inspired. You could generate ideas for music and AI. Dude, you're lost. You're so far gone. Just pick up the guitar. That's it. Just pick up the guitar. Don't worry about this stuff. It's not going to give you an edge. It's not. If you're using this stuff, you are not understanding the fundamentals of music. That like imagine Jimi Hendrix, like in a world with AI music, like Jimi Hendrix is like with his whatever guitar and is like, yeah, I'm gonna like generate it and then get an idea. No, man, like he just knew how to play the thing. He just practiced for a very long time and understood what he was hearing. You don't like it's so lost the plot, man. I wish the best for this person. I hope like I think they have some kind of an idea of this. They're just, what I think of this person, and I don't know this person personally, I could be completely wrong. But what I think of this person, they sound like someone who's interested in music, and they're just, they sound like they don't have a lot of confidence in their own skills as a musician. And they are trying to find something with this AI tool, but they also know that it's not helping them. So that's why they are making this post about how it can't understand music. But they're trying to justify it. They're trying to find the really, like, what I'm getting from this person is that they just need to have more confidence in themselves as a musician, which I think a lot of artists need to feel. I think that's another big issue with like people trying to use AI in the arts, is that they just are lacking confidence in what they can produce. And it's scary. Like, it's really hard to compete. It's really hard to go at it. Like I get the feeling, but I don't condone the outcome. I don't condone the action. I feel like if there was an AI that could listen your songs and give advice or help see if your message could be conveyed, it would be nice to have a neutral perspective. Bro, we already have that. It's called a person. I feel like if there was an AI that could listen to your songs and give advice to help see if your message could be conveyed, yeah, it's called playing your song for another person and asking them for advice. And I get it. You might not know someone who's knowledgeable. You might not know someone who this. I know. I get the immediate rebuttal to that. Like, just find a person, bro. There are some people where they don't have access to a person. I get it. I get it. But again, this is like the same argument I was saying before. Either it's always bad or it's always good. It's not like, I think that the reason you shouldn't use AI for your music, you shouldn't have AI give you advice about your music, is because it will not understand music. It will make your music worse. So if you happen to not have a good support network, that is a shame. That is very unfortunate that there are some people who don't have good support networks. I believe very strongly in education and the arts and all that sort of stuff. Something that I want to even do, like with my platform, when I have more followers, more this, more that. If I become a very successful person, a major thing that I would like to give back to the world is people having that with other people. But whether a person has access to other people or doesn't, the AI is still bad for them. So why would I think that, oh, this person doesn't have a coach or doesn't have a parent who understands music or doesn't have friends who understand music? Well, that person, it's okay for them to use the thing that's not going to help them. but it's not okay for a person who does have access. That would be the anti-progressive statement. Oh, however, okay, like, so they kind of get it. I'm roasting this person from their first sentence, but they're like, they kind of get it. However, AI will frequently just tell you what you like to hear, so it'd have to be programmed to not act like your bestie or good vibes. Okay, so wait, you had me the first half of the sentence. Then the second thing, it'd have to be programmed to just not act like your bestie. Is that possible? This was also the premise of the South Park AI episode this past season. And it's a worthy criticism. And it's the idea that AI is a yes man. Like it yeses all of your suggestions. It tells you what you want to hear. Like, is it possible to have it challenge people? And like, even if it was, would they not want to implement that? Because really, would that many people go, yeah, I want it to challenge me? Because you say that. You say you want it to challenge you, and then it does, and then you're not happy with it. You know, this is why a real person is such an important part of this, because, and also like if you have control over the thing. This is another problem with AI, with the you have power over it. It's a thing that you control. A human being, you don't have power over. If you ask a person, in general, like obviously like a person could work for you. Like if you hire a person and you're paying them to review your music, obviously you have power over them. And there could be problems with that too. Sometimes when you're paying someone, they become a yes man. They don't tell you what you need to hear. So that could totally happen. But a person, like let's say a situation where you have a friend who plays the guitar a little bit, you have a friend who's been playing the guitar for 4 years. You've been playing the guitar for 1 year. And you ask that friend your opinion on the song. That friend might not know everything. You're not going to have control over what they tell you. You can't turn them off. You can't go, they're going to tell you what they're going to tell you. You know what it is? And I'm just getting this, is it's an idea of wanting this sort of perfection. But art is not perfect. That's what makes it art. That's what makes it like work. If you have this hypothetical AI that doesn't act like your best friend, that is objective about music, it's going to tell you whatever it thinks is the perfect music. But there is no such thing as the perfect music. It doesn't exist. There's your perfect music. And even your perfect music has a million answers, a billion answers, maybe more answers than even that. So even if this hypothetical thing that this person is describing could exist, could be developed, what's the point? We would be much better off just getting it from our friend who's played the guitar a few more years than us. And I know not everyone has that kind of access. And that's a systematic problem. And it's a systematic problem that I believe very strongly in remedying. And I don't think AI is the remedy to that. I think that this is probably a person who might have a little bit more confidence than the person above. I think that this person's struggle is that they probably don't have a lot of people in their life that can give them feedback. And that's very sad. And I hope that this person, as they go through their life, I hope that they find people that they can get feedback from. That's what I wish for this person. And I wish for this person, the OP, to gain some confidence in their music. Suppose someone generates AI music and they like the melody and chord progression so much that they transcribe it and play it for real. Who would ever know it originated from AI? It would just sound like normal expression to everyone else, and it would be expressive being played by humans. My God. Who would ever know it originated from AI is probably, unfortunately, mostly true. But this is where the diminishing returns argument comes in. Diminishing returns is very important part of this. Because if you have enough music like that out there that is originated from AI, there are things that are lacking. And they like the melody and chord progression. Well, there's going to be something wrong with that melody and chord progression. There is no way. Again, let's talk about the circles, the big circles. This applies to music too. The biggest circle, all the possible music you could ever create. That is a finite amount. All the possible music you could ever create is a finite amount, given a stopping point for time of the length. Like, let's say, generate music maximum of 1 minute. There is a finite amount of sounds that you can make. There is a sound spectrum, and it only goes so far. Now, that number is so gigantic that it has more possibilities than there are stars in the observable universe, that there are atoms in the universe, probably. Smaller circle, what AI can generate. Even smaller circle, what humans know resonates with people. Good musician, someone who's a record executive, someone who's studied music theory, who's got a master's degree or professor, they're gonna know. A layman might not know. They might not know. You might trick a layman. Good for you. You trick a layman. You still get diminishing returns. on if adopted entirely, which is why my final position is there should not be things that generate music. We should not allow it. It should be illegal and it should be illegal on the grounds of that music is worth preserving. And we have laws on this. There is precedent to this. There are laws that protect the arts, copyright law. Copyright law protects business. I'm not going to say it doesn't protect business. It does. Copyright law is meant to protect the arts. It's meant so that there can be further creativity. Same grounds on this. Same grounds. To further protect creativity, there should not be things that generate music from scratch. I think it's very easy to enforce. I think it's it's not very easy to enforce. There's difficulties with it, obviously. But you could draw lines. You need gigantic data centers to do any of this. And you can basically just say, hey, you got this gigantic data center? Well, it can't do that. It can search for specific parts of songs and show you specific parts of songs, so it can teach you things, show you sources, show you all that, show you human-made stuff. But shouldn't generate music, shouldn't generate images, shouldn't generate video. Who cares whether or not the generator understands what it's doing? I do. I do. I mean, I guess I don't. Because it's by definition, it can't understand what it's doing. Like if if the generator hypothetically did understand what it was doing, that doesn't matter because it literally can't understand what it's doing because it's a generator. If it did understand what it was doing, then it would be alive. It would be like us, and it would be deserving of the same rights as any of us and deserving of the same consideration. So there's no whether. It's not the generator understands what it's doing because it's only not. There is no is unless it was a living thing and therefore wouldn't be a generator anymore. The human hears the melody and the chords and the structure in the room of the piece says, this is banger, this speaks to me. Yeah, but does it really? Like if you're a good musician, you're thinking AI is going to come up with a figure and be like, this speaks to me. Get out of here. Again, think of like the Beatles. Think of actual musicians sitting and doing their thing and they're gonna generate something on Suno AI and gonna be like, this speaks to me. Get out of here. I think my biggest problem with AI is that it's not actually generating anything new per se. It's just stealing stuff from actual creators and smooshing it together. It feels like plagiarism. I think it should be considered plagiarism. What you're describing, what AI does, has never existed in all of human history. So it's completely new. So that's why we're having so much trouble dealing with it. The reason I think it should be considered plagiarism is I've heard some argument for it where it's like any AI-generated image took from somewhere else. It literally could not have done otherwise. It can't create on its own. It's not possible. It took from somewhere else. But it took from so many sources, from so many other places, that the amount that is taken is just I think I heard someone who was pro-AI, they said a pixel. I don't think it's a pixel. I feel like if it was a pixel, it would not be that much, but it's still very little. Now, I would think that if, let's say hypothetically, as a person, and this would be an impossible task, you would have to be a computer to do this, but let's just say there was a person who somehow was able to create an image that was only taking pieces of other artists' images and putting them together in certain ways. Now, legally, that would still be plagiarism because they didn't do anything of their own and they literally took things from other things. Like, you can't take a movie and then put in the middle of the movie a section of an episode of The Simpsons unless you have the rights to that episode of The Simpsons. You could maybe, like what I do with SpongeBob episodes, you could comment on SpongeBob episodes as a critic, fair use and all that. But you can't just present someone else's work as your own within your work. And you can't do that with art either. Yet, this hypothetical person who made this image based only on images that other people made would, in this scenario, get away with it. Because no one would be able to prove that it came from other images. There were so many images put together that you can't actually know that they did it. There'd be no way to prove it in a court of law. There'd be no way to do it unless you had a video of the person making it. However, the one difference between the person and the AI is that the person would have plausible deniability for how they made that image that was made of everyone else's image. There is a possibility that the person could have made it themselves because they're a person and we know that they can make it themselves. For the AI, there isn't. There is no plausible deniability. We know for a fact that every time AI makes an image, it takes it from somewhere else. It takes it from copyrighted works. Therefore, is plagiarism. But we would have to rework the definition because the only reason that it doesn't exactly fit in the definition of plagiarism is because it's a thing that could not have happened before. It's like if you made like a ray gun that like vaporizes someone, like a science fiction ray gun that just vaporizes a person. Like if I invented that in my garage, technically, after I invented it, that wouldn't be illegal to own because it never existed. There's no law that says you can't own a laser gun because they don't exist. Why would there be a law against a thing that doesn't exist? So it would take a little while if I invented a laser gun that vaporizes people to make it illegal. I would have to go and use it and have someone go, whoa, that's like super messed up. That should be illegal. And then you pass a law on it. So it's kind of like that with like generative AIs. Like there was no precedent for it because it just was the thing. They weren't going to be like, oh yeah, let's make a law making it plagiarism if a computer puts stuff together. They had no concept that it could do that. ChatGPT has a setting where it can be more critical. I don't buy it. I don't think it can be fixed. Interesting. I'm skeptical too. I'm so skeptical. Even if it did, people wouldn't use it. They just use the yes man one. Like there's a couple people where they have principle and they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to use the one that's going to challenge me. But like most people are still going to use the yes man one. You're going to get the same problems. Correct me if I'm wrong, but AI doesn't directly take pixels from training data. It gets the prompt and goes through its data and calculates the color value that is most likely for each pixel. That sounds right. I have a pretty good understanding of the process, but that's some pretty deep understanding of it. I don't care. It's still stealing. It's what you describe. It's just what you describe is just plagiarism with some extra steps. Do you think AI will eventually go away and humans can get back to their own creativity? We're still with our own creativity. Don't worry. That's not gone. But I understand. I understand the spirit of your question. Do you think AI will eventually go away? That's up to us. It will go away if we make it go away. That's like saying when cars were invented, it's like, hey, do you think we'll ever make seatbelts a law? Do you think we'll ever force people to have seatbelts so less people will die in car crashes? I don't know. We have to make it happen. Not to get too political, but clearly we have other things to deal with in terms of laws and whatnot in this country. I think that we have to deal with the fascism first. That's kind of like the main thing that we got to get out of the way. AI came at a bad time because it's a time where there is a lot more that we are dealing with, and we have a government that actively likes AI because the existence of AI erodes the truth, and eroding the truth helps them. So that's a problem. You would need a government system or people in power that care at least a little bit about the truth. But it goes away if we make it go away, and we have a lot of time. However long, 3 years isn't forever, if this madness ends in 3 years. With the defeatist person earlier, I think that we just have to say it. We just have to normalize the idea of banning AI. Like, that's what we have to do. We have to normalize it. People are constantly normalizing the existence of AI. And that's really a big issue, is that they're normalizing that it's around, with the silly cat videos and the studio Ghiblify yourself. Like, these things normalize its existence. You need to normalize its non-existence, or normalize the idea that there's something wrong with this. It's very difficult in a social situation when someone is around and there's a brought up thing. Like I recently had a thing where I was around a family member who said something that was very innocent about like animals being generated in AI. Like, and she said to me like, oh, have you seen this words thing? She had no idea my position. She didn't know. She knows I was a YouTuber, but she didn't know that I made some 44-minute anti-AI video. She didn't know that something stole my video. It's just not a part of her life. It's not a part of a lot of people's lives. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't, you don't have to know everything about everything. But anyway, she said something to me about like, oh, have you seen this? And I, in that moment, could have just kind of brushed it off. And I did say, my exact wording was, I don't think positively, or I will never think positively of anything AI. And I explained it because I'm a YouTuber and there's AI steals my videos. It's a threat to my thing. So like I get like this personal thing with it. So like when I talk to people, I have a really easy explanation when, like, if someone very casually brings up AI, I have a very easy way to say why I don't like it, because it harms my job. So like but like I think that there are ways for a person who is not in the arts to say that they're concerned about it. It depends also on the person you're talking to. Like maybe if they're a person where, they aren't too caught up on politics, or perhaps they're on the other side of politics, maybe they're not really going to resonate with the idea of it eroding truth or, all this sort of stuff. Maybe that's not really going to resonate with them. But basically, if you're around someone who's like a friend or a family member who mentions AI, who mentions the existence of AI, don't be shy that you think it's wrong, that you think it's bad. And don't be shy about saying that you think it should be illegal. Like, have just ideas of why you think it's a problem. And it depends on the person you're talking to. Try and think of things that the person you're talking to cares about that is threatened by AI. So if they're like a big movie buff, if they enjoy TV shows, it's like, well, the things that you like about TV shows are at risk because of it. A lot of people, this is a very general thing that I think could be very effective, is a lot of people hate scammers. The idea of people who like cold call old people and trick them into giving them money. This is probably your best catch-all if you're talking to someone. It's a good last resort. If AI gets brought up, the main thing when you say that you don't like it, be like, it makes those people, the scammers, it gives them power to scam people. Like, I think that that's a huge one. And if the conversation goes further from there, you can do all sorts of other arguments. Watch my video on it, use my arguments. Everybody hates scammers, like not everyone agrees on misinformation. Not everyone agrees on the arts. Not everyone fully understands the arts or misinformation or any of this stuff. Everybody hates scammers. So if you start there, it's a good place to start. And you're like, yeah, that's why I'm like against like a funny cat video isn't worth giving power to scammers. I would say that's a really good way for you to continue the normalization of anti-AI in your daily life. I see someone who looks like they're in Minnesota. Should we go with it? Should we talk about spicy stuff? Should we get spicy? This picture of lunatic leftist William Kelly crying after his arrest brings me joy. Hope you enjoy too. Is this the guy who protested the church that had the pastor who was the ICE chief or ICE officer? I don't know the entire story. That looks AI. Maybe it is. It's still awesome to see. Are these real messages though? Wait, I think this is fake, right? What is this? So like this looks like normal text. Wait, this looks like normal text. Hold on, I think we're getting like double misinformation. So this is like, they used AI to make him cry. I think they did that with the White House did like the arrest picture with the crying. I want to address that. I think this is fake text. Maybe it is. It's still awesome to see. I don't want to fully dig into that. Doesn't that look fake? I think it's trying to look like a Discord server. It is? This is a Discord server? I thought it was like Twitter. I want to address the idea of like misinformation with like this. Let me see what the commenters say. 1.1k upvotes. Okay, so this will be spicy. As an here we go. Here's a fun one. As an AI defender, I have a very clear line on any kind of deepfakes. F off. AI is good for anime stuff or in medications and work in progress. I have a lot of fun with AI. But any kind of deepfakes of real people, any kind, can just F off. Wow, this can just F off as not a argument. That's the kind of behavior that makes the rest of AI defenders look bad because some idiots make deepfake and fix it. So it says, and if you claim it's real, it just makes it worse. Okay, but like, here's the thing. You're an AI defender. If you defend AI, that means deepfakes. You can't have AI generated images and not deepfakes. You can like have it be like you're like not allowed to do it on some things, but you would never be able to regulate that. You can regulate the whole idea of generating anything. That you could do. You could, because it needs giant data centers to generate it. You have a clear line on deepfakes. Okay, but you're an AI defender. So like you can't have some of it. You don't get to have some of it. It's all of it or none of it. Like, the thing that you're defending is misinformation. I'm pro AI, but I'm anti this. Yeah, but you aren't. Like, you aren't. You are pro that, because being pro AI is actually being pro that. Yellow journalism in America goes all the way back to Thomas Jefferson, at least. People have used every tool imaginable to manipulate facts, spin statistics, and try to mislead the public with distortion. Doesn't matter which aisle you're on. Every political party is engaged in activity. It's never been a reasonable argument to go. No, oh, you're so wrong. Okay, so what this person is misunderstanding. So this is probably correct. I mean, all the way back. Yellow. I mean, I guess, like, why not just say it goes all the way back to George Washington? Like, why did it start with, why Thomas Jefferson? What? No one lied about George Washington or John Adams? Because you said in America. So, like, yeah, goes back to why Thomas Jefferson? Does anyone know why they're saying specific? Just say it's always been a thing. Because it has always been a thing. Like, that's correct. People have used every tool imaginable to manipulate facts, spin statistics, and try to mislead the public with distortions. True. That is absolutely true. People do that all the time. Doesn't matter which aisle you're on. Also true. I've seen misinformation using AI from both sides, from the side that I agree with. And I disagree with using the AI on my side. I don't think that helps. I think that's very unhelpful. So yeah, I do agree with that. Every political party engaged in activity, it's never been a reasonable argument to get rid of the tool. Okay, so here's what they're missing. At what point have they used technology to fully change the facial expressions of a photograph that is meant to be presented as real? I've seen stuff like making color choices on a photo make the victim or police violence look more foreign and stuff, but never anything to this extent. True. I guess, yeah, you probably couldn't achieve that with Photoshop. But it's also, I think the thing that this person is misunderstanding is the capacity for danger of this particular thing. I'm not going to call it a tool of generative AI as opposed to like anything else. The capacity, like the actual output, you know, how much you can put out there, how quickly you can do it. That is a danger that is unique to AI. People have used every tool imaginable to manipulate facts. True. They've done it with, you know, you take a newspaper, you change an image, and you take a printing press and you change it up. You can use a megaphone to lie to more people. You can use Photoshop to mess with things. You can do all that. But never has there been something that is more capable of spewing out misinformation faster than generative AI. And for what? You know, for what benefit? You know, like, okay, the printing press can be used to tell lies, but it's also the printing press, you know? Photoshop can be used to tell lies, but it's also Photoshop. Like, these are incredibly useful things that are world-changing, and yes, we're used to do bad things. Gen AI, what does it provide you? What is it? A stupid cat video? You know? A slightly faster output for a worse movie? You know? I've already demonstrated why it should be used in movies with the whole diminishing returns and all that stuff. So it is a reasonable argument to get rid of, and I'm not calling it a tool, to get rid of something like that. If that thing does nothing else. Like, it's all about the magnitude of the damage that something can do. Like, you can own a truck, you know, a big truck, but you can't own a tank. I think you can't own a tank, right, as a private citizen, at least not on the street. I'm pretty sure you can't own a tank as a private citizen. At the very least, you can't drive around on the highway. The reason you can't own a tank is because it has a unique capacity for damage. So you could say, like, yeah, well, like, you know, this guy got run over by a tank, but you can run over people with a truck too. So that's not a reasonable argument to get rid of the tank. Yes, it is, because the tank is so much more capable of running over many more people in many other ways. Something like that, you know, something like that. I could probably have worded that better, but you know what I mean. I think the problem is they mean AI as in AI used to identify tumors in X-ray and like generative AI. Dude, exactly that. Yeah, like if there is like a computer program that can like identify a tumor, like, years before it develops or whatever, like that's fine. Like there is nothing that I like that is, you can have that and not have ChatGPT. Those things do not, that does not mean it has to exist. But this you can't have ChatGPT, or you can have ChatGPT, but you can't have things that generate images and not have this. This will always be there. This will always be something, a part of it. Bad use not equal to bad tool. It is if you can't regulate it. It is if you can't regulate it. AI generated images are the only thing that validate right-winger opinions. Okay, well that's actually not true. And I say this as someone who doesn't like right-winger opinions. Obviously that's not true because right-winger opinions have been around longer than AI. Clearly there is a lot of logical fallacy and lying in such things. Oh, is it time for this sub to turn into political slot posting already? People being mad that it is political. That's so crazy. Wait, why? Why are you mad that it's... I mean, I know why you're actually mad, because you disagree. Because you're on the side of the person who generated the image. You're on the side of ICE, and that person was the ICE protest. So that's actually why this person is saying it's very disingenuous. People say this to me on my 2 videos that were a little more political. Like they say like, oh, like you made it political. Like you're supposed to be like a cartoon channel. Like you shouldn't be, it's just like, just say that you're on that side. It's fine. Like, I mean, it's not fine, but like, you know what, but like, just be honest. Like say like you're on the AI wars subreddit. Like you're clearly wanting to talk about this subject, or like, you're talking about a subject that already has a lot of like debate to it. AI is a great tool for fascists because it lets them create the reality they want to make people afraid of. That is kind of true. There was a thing that I talked about in my video about AI where it was back in October, so it's already kind of outdated, but it was around the like snap cuts from the government shutdown. It was like people like yelling about food stamps, and it was AI generated. And there was a lot of the comments were, so like, I think that this is fake. Like this text does not look right. Like, I don't think this person, like this looks like real text, that this is posted by this person. But this text looks not real. This text looks added later. So I don't think this person actually said this, but it does look like this person actually said, I mean, who knows? The whole thing could be fake. But this, maybe it is. It's still awesome to see. Might not have been said by this person, so I don't want to do the same thing that I am talking about it doing. But what was happening with some of these old like food stamp posts and people yelling about food stamps is there'd be like a comment that would be like, hey, like this is AI, this isn't real. And then there'd be another comment that's like, yeah, but like that's how they act, referring to the groups of people that were in the video that they believe are inferior to them. And that's kind of a thing with AI that's a problem, is the idea, like this attitude. While I don't think this person actually said it, I think that's kind of the point, is the idea of like, they put it out there and some people just believe it. And some people know it's AI, but then they say, oh, like it might as well, like, you know, but that's like how they are anyway. And between those two things, that drowns out the people who are like, this is AI, this is a lie. As an art, is this from the future? What do you mean? I've been using AI related tools for 30 years. Well, they've only existed for 2 years. So I guess we got a time traveler in here. Or they're going to try and make things that existed in the 90s sound like AI to further obfuscate the point here. TLDR, as an artist and scholar, I've been using AI-related tools for 30 years, and it's been done nothing but kick ass the whole time. My first introduction to generative systems was in the late 90s. I was studying music and philosophy in college. There was a popular education program that could generate jazz solos in the style of famous musicians. Robot Hendrix, Robot Charlie Parker, Louis Armstrong. I found it creepy. No, get out of here. In the 90s? In the late 90s? Is that a thing? Someone fact check that. That sounds like nonsense. I found it creepy but fascinating. Generate jazz solos in the style of famous musicians in the late 90s? Even if that did exist in any capacity, that would have been incredibly primitive. In the mid-2000s, I was getting into multi-track recording, and recorded me that above program we used to generate unique musical elements. At one point, added Robot John Coltrane on Pamphlet. In the mid-2000s, is this person... What? Is this person from another dimension? There's no way it could have been anywhere on the same level what's going on today. If we're hearing all about this stuff right now, if it existed since the 90s, I found the composing tedious and the performance style boring. Then quit. then quit. If you think that I mean, it could be tedious, but like if you're like, oh, I hate doing the part of the job that is the job, then don't do it. Then just go. Why are you in music then? Oh, I find composing so tedious. Then quit. Found this a lot more fun and interesting. So pretty soon generative systems, provided this is true, I found it a lot more fun and interesting to not do the work and have something else do it for me. Yeah, that does sound a lot more fun. Yeah, I was once building this bridge and, you know, it was really tedious to like put all the bricks together. But then I made someone else do it and then I sat and watched them and it was a lot more fun and interesting. Yeah, for several years, the way I performed was by giving the computer general directives on stage. Go fast, go slow, more sparse, switch to minor key. On stage? For several years, the way I performed was by giving the computer several directives on stage? What stage? You mean that someone came to your show, but you just played them a track on a computer? Why were you like a DJ? Was that it? You were a DJ? All in real time. Do you mean like a looper? Like a looper is a thing where you play music and then it picks it up. It's something you control with your feet. And you play like a little bit of like a chord and you press it on your feet and it like repeats the sorry, not a chord, the chord progression. It repeats the progression. But that's like you're doing the thing as a musician. Like you're not generating anything. I've also dabbled in game design and video over the years and have routinely found AI art tools useful for things like thumbnails or website images. In the past 2 years or in the 90s? Like, I like how they said it was in the 2010s and the 90s. I don't trust this person. It's just a fast, cheap, flexible tool for creating elements that you need to get your content off. Generated elements are always complemented, but never essential focus. But like, they are a part of it. Like if you're things like thumbnails or website images, that is the central. What are you talking about? You contradict yourself. Generated images are always complementary, never the central focus. Yeah, I found it useful for things like thumbnails or website images. Thumbnail, that is the central focus. When I make a video, the thumbnail, I know it's not talking about specifically videos, but like that is the central focus. That's like that is a central focus. Or website images. That's so vague. That's so vague. It could be something like on the side or whatever, but like that is so vague. In addition to art, I'm a passionate student of the humanities and social science and have a master's degree in religious studies. Typical. Sorry, I'm nothing against religious people, but like sounds typical. But my studies have always been held back at my slow reading and limited retention of scholarly material. Then modern AI entered my life. Oh, so before you used... So you found AI tools used for things like creating elements. How was that before modern AI entered your life? When I realized what it could do, it quickly occurred to me that I could use it to supercharge my studies. Obviously, they're talking about something over here that is like not what I'm picturing. Like it's not like they magically had like ChatGPT generative images back then. They have something that's like, they're probably being disingenuous, talking about like things like, like what someone was saying in the chat, like, I don't know, it's probably like adding like a Gaussian blur or something, like changing the color of everything. You're calling it AI to try and make it sound like it's the same. This is very dishonest. Like whatever this is just a very dishonest paragraph. Then modern AI entered my life. I started using AI to help me identify books, condense them into versions I could listen to in a couple. Yeah. I started using AI to help me... Wait, can you do that? To help me identify books, condense them into versions I could listen to in a couple of hours, create tests to push my learning, and even have real-time conversation. Identify books, condense them into versions I could listen to in a couple hours. There's no way. That's just stealing a book. You still have to buy books, right? How would you do that? You take a whole book? What book? Condense them in a version I could listen to in a couple hours. So take out, how would it know what parts to take out? Isn't a book Isn't all of the things in a book important to the book? That's why it's in the book. Why would it condense it into, it's already condensed. That's what the editor of the book was for. The author wrote the book. They gave it to their editor. The editor condensed it into the version that was all of the important stuff. You can't condense it further without just losing stuff. Translation from a chatter. I was held back by my skill level, so instead of improving myself, I used AI to give me fake summaries of books I will never read. True. Imagine that. Identify books, condense them into versions I could listen to in a couple hours? Bro, you could listen to a normal book in a couple of hours. What do you mean? Right? Isn't it like, I mean, how long would it be to listen to? I haven't listened to many audiobooks. I mostly like read books. Like, actually, I have trouble listening to audiobooks. I'm actually not. I listened to, what was it? A book called Mastery and a book called, the writing book Save the Cat. I listened to those in the car. How long were they? Couldn't have been more than a couple of hours anyway. I'm stuck on this. And I don't use ChatGPT. Can I actually do that? Can you actually like go on ChatGPT and be like, find me, like, can I actually be like, let's say Save the Cat, the writing book. Can I actually go on ChatGPT and be like, hey, ChatGPT, find me Save the Cat, the writing book, condense it into a version I could listen to in a couple of hours. And then it just would? That's a lot. Like, that's a lot of, does it cut it out? Does it rewrite it itself? Nothing should be taken out of the book because it was the author's decision to include it. Exactly. Like, exactly. That feels too long for a ChatGPT response. Yeah, no way. No way. Like, right? Yeah. I don't buy that. Create tests to push my learning. That, it probably wouldn't create very good tests. That I could kind of, even have real-time conversations help me process the material. Yeah, with the thing that doesn't actually understand the material. I've studied over 75 scholarly books. Okay, but... Bro, you don't get to say... This is too funny. This is too funny. Oh my god. I mean, this person is lying. This person is lying. I've studied over 75 scholarly books in the last 9 months using this method. Bro is acting like he read 75 books in 9 months. He's actually like, like trying to be like, yeah, I'm like young Sheldon. That's what he is. He's young Sheldon reading 75 books the last 9 months. We got young Sheldon over here with AI, and you too can be young. Dude, this guy is just, and these aren't random books that happen to be at the bookstore or chosen by a disinterested professor. Oh, of course. The anti-intellectualism. Gotta have the anti-intellectualism. A disinterested professor. A disinterested professor. Yeah, those professors, they're so disinterested. Man, I don't think I would say that about any professor I've ever had. And I've had professors, like, in college that I explicitly disagreed with from so many different subjects. Like, I've had philosophy professors. I took a lot of, even theater classes. I've taken I've had a lot of professors that I have disagreed with. I'd say I maybe had one professor that I would ever say was a disinterested professor. And it was a writing professor I once had where I would like submit my assignments and I would get something like good job. And I'm like, no, I don't want good job. Give me that. But that's one professor. Okay. I went to like, I have a master's degree. I went to college for like 6 years. All right. And so like I've taken a lot of college classes and that's the only time I would say that I ever had a disinterested professor. And I've had plenty of professors I didn't like. I've had plenty of I've had professors I disagreed with politically. I've had professors that I disagreed with on their philosophies about like acting and performing. I would never have called those people disinterested. They were very interested in things that I didn't agree with, but they were like chosen by a disinterested professor. The anti-intellectualism. This is like it's just so cynical. Like to be like, all professors are disinterested. I'm going to use AI to like read 75 books, which you're not because you're lying. They're books specifically targeted to help me grow in the specific ways I want to grow. Wait. They're specifically targeted to make you grow in the specific ways you want to grow. So you targeted them to you, or they okay, whatever. Move past it. I'm learning so fast, sometimes it's almost frightening. I use AI to help my musical practice too, and my musical growth is at all-time high as well. Oh yeah, I'm sure you're writing symphonies, guy. The fears around AI are legitimate. It's an economic threat to a lot of professionals and hundreds of disciplines. AI-generated propaganda such as deepfakes are a frightening threat to our shared reality, and when used to replace human creativity rather than complement it, it can lead to cognitive decay. Then why did you just advocate for it? I got some of this on my anti-AI video, which there was a little bit of that idea of like, oh, like, yeah, like what if like people are just like responsible with it or something? And it's like, well, they're not gonna be. This is why we have speed limits. This is why we have like laws, because there are just some people who are just not going to be responsible with stuff. And the thing that you're trying to preserve anyway isn't very useful at all. Hey, please don't use AI to create deep fakes for your political game. Please don't do that. Just please don't. Oh, are you going to make any like laws to stop me? No, I'm just asking you really nicely to not do that. But I hope my story can help you see it's got another side. What is the name of the 90s and 2000s software programs? Band in a Box, it's still around. Band in a Box is so easy to use. Just type in the chords for any song using standard chord symbols. Choose the style you'd like, and Band in a Box does the rest. Band in a Box automatically generates a complete professional quality arrangement: piano, bass, drums, guitar. Oh, you liar. Yeah. So this is the example, and it was just type in the chords for any song using standard chord symbols. That's not generative AI anymore. It's computer music, but that already exists. That's already a thing, and it's fine. Like, it's fine to do that. Like, I mean, there's a lot of value in playing a real instrument and recording a real instrument, but like that can coexist with something like this. Like those things can coexist. Like a tool like this, and I will call this a tool. Type in chords for any song and see it in different instruments. Like, sure, there's a lot to that, but like that could be great for someone. Like you're a kid, you can't afford an instrument, you want to see if you like it. You could see how these things can work. Like, this is not, to call this AI is so disingenuous. Oh yeah, I heard about this one. This one's fun. This is a fun one. How many? Oh, we got so many comments on this one. This is a fun one. This is a fun one, guys. Yeah, a student was arrested for criminal mischief after ripping AI art off walls and eating it in a protest at an exhibition. He could be fined up to $5,000 and spend at least 30 days in prison. Bro, he's like Mac from Always Sunny, eating the paper. Exonerate this man. The hero we need. The hero we need. So fair. At an exhibition, like an art exhibition, I don't know. That's so fair, man. Okay. Hold on. I'll take a step back. I'll take a step back here. Okay. Let's move past the fact that I think it's very funny. To like talk about like nuance or whatever. Is this something that I would do myself? No, I would not do this myself. No one was hurt, I would say. I would kind of call it a bit of a victimless crime. So I wish I had more info on like what. So they ripped the AI art off the walls and they ate it. He ate it. That's so funny. You could have just tore it up. He ate it. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. He single-handedly made the real performance art. Destroying AI art is art. Okay, so like, I mean, it made a headline. Like, I think, okay, so I guess like legally, well, I don't care about legally, like whatever. In the current like legal, or our legal, we haven't caught up to AI and what it should be considered and if it should be this or that, you know, it's a whole thing. Like, let's, yeah, you know, like by definition, the thing was like property of someone else. He took the property and destroyed it. Like, I guess it's illegal, you know, whatever. Let's talk about the boring stuff. You know, you don't need to talk about boring stuff there. You know, I'm not a lawyer. Let's talk about the actual like morality of it. Okay. No one was hurt. And it makes a statement, makes a strong statement. And also it does kind of put on blast, because here's the problem with like the other side of this. The people who had this this art exhibition. Provided it is an art exhibition, it just says at an exhibition. I'm gonna just assume it's an art exhibition. It might not be. That's not right. You know, as the exhibition to like put, because that's not the point. Like an art exhibition is about showing off art. Art requires human intent. Like you should protest that, you know? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit much, you know? Maybe it's a bit too harsh. I think it's very funny. For more context, in Alaska, it's classified as a Class B misdemeanor, and he's charged with 1 count of criminal mischief in the 5th degree. The estimated total value of the destroyed property was $220. The estimated value was $220 of what? How many did he eat? I am so suspicious of this value of the property. This is either like overinflated to put him in more trouble, or printing ink is expensive. But $220, like that he ate? Like, okay, so I'm a photographer. So I print out posters of like for like shows. Like I'm a youth theater photographer. So I would take pictures of shows and I would make posters of the shows. I would print them out at like CVS. It's like $3 to print out an 8x12, like an 8x12. And what it would take for me to eat, what it would take for me to eat one 8x12, it's about this size. All right, so we got Bold and Brash here. Okay, so like, let's say this was just on standard printer paper, and it's about this size. This at CVS would cost about $3. What it would take for me to eat this, that's this times 100 or times like 50, at least 220, 50, 150, times like 70. It's times like 70. I'd have to eat 70 of these. How did he not get caught? Were they selling the AI generated art? Like, and they estimated the value at $220. Like he ate, like they were selling like a print that was generated that was like $50 to someone who they're probably scamming, unless it like explicitly says AI generated, in which case I think that's still wrong. It's less wrong if you put that it's AI generated before you sell it to someone, but most likely it's like they just were lying to people. They were selling this art. And they were just selling it for like, I don't know, $50 each, $50 here, $70 here, and he ate like 5. Even that would be tough. Was it one piece that was $220? I want to know the context if they were honest that it was AI generated. Because honestly, like, I mean, I guess like you didn't have to eat it. I guess you could have just stood there and like called them out. There might have been another way to go about it. But like, I think that's what this means, is that they were selling it. They were selling the AI generated art, and it was worth that much, because that's not printer. That's not printer. You would need, if that's like, I get it. Printing's expensive. That's not printer. That's not just printed stuff. You would have to eat a lot of ink. He would die. It depends on how much he actually eats per image. If he fully eats them, or if he takes a bite. Oh, that's so true. He could have taken like 1 bite out of each of them, like just enough to ruin it. Still a lot though. That still would be like upwards of like 80. It's a lot. You'd have to bite before you get caught. You could bite 5 before you get busted. I bet he ate 5 pieces, and I bet he gobbled them down. And this was the like, and maybe they weren't sold for that much. Like maybe they were like, maybe like $30, which is still bad. It's still a scam. But like they just were like, oh yeah, it actually costs $50 to get him in more trouble. As an anti, that was very wrong. Even if you don't like something, that does not excuse joining another person's property. Yeah, but like, okay, so you know what? I'll do more than just mock this person. Another person's property. I think that's a little disingenuous, because like another person's property is like, you have to actually take into account like the value of the property. Like, let's be real. If it was an AI generated thing, and I'm talking about morality, I'm not talking about like, I don't think we should have like, we should change the laws where you're allowed to eat art if it's, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd support that. I guess that would solve a lot of the problems actually. You know, you go into like the Hobby Lobby, you know, with like they have their like AI stuff and you just like eat it and they're like, hey, and it's like, sorry, new law. If it's AI generated, I'm allowed to eat it. It's fine. I guess I would support that law. That is not currently the law, but like enough with the that does not excuse destroying another person's like they broke their grandmother's urn. Like, relax. All right. If it was AI generated, it didn't mean anything to them because they didn't spend any time making it. So, like, don't pearl clutch over this of, oh, it doesn't another person's property. Like, baby. Like, can we not, like, with... I'm so glad someone here has morals and integrity crying over a loss of printer ink. I think this is so, like... And, like, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna be, like, free him or whatever. Like, you should go do this. I don't think you should go do this. I think that you should, if you really want to protest something like this, like you should argue with the person. You should maybe stand outside, you know, have a sign. Like you should, I get it. You shouldn't eat it, even though it's very funny. But like this, like going to like, it's, oh, another person's property. Please. You should only say that if the property meaningfully meant something to the person. And if this like AI generated image like meant something to the person selling, like, oh, they're just so proud of what they didn't make. Like, no, they were trying to, from what I see from the fact that the estimated damage is $220, they were sitting at their art exhibition and they were trying to scam an old lady who didn't realize that their little generated thing wasn't actually made by them. And then this old lady was going to be out $50 and have this weird thing in their house, and their grandkid's going to come over and be like, Grandma, that thing is AI. And she'll be like, what? You know, like destroying another person's property. Like that's the property in question, that. POV, when you bully online, but you realize real life has rules. That's not the same. When you bully online, what bullying? I mean, maybe. But like, I think you're just, I mean, considering that you're top, wait, hold on. Oh wait, this is so, is so outed. When you bully online, top 1% commenter. Bro, people disagreeing with you is not bullying. I mean, maybe some people have been like not nice to you, but like, wow. Surprise, surprise, eating someone's property because you like the contents like a feral animal. Like a feral animal. These feral animals. The pearl clutch. Good. Destroying people's property is a crime and should be treated as such. Oh my God. Like I get it. Like it is a crime. Like I'm not disagreeing that it's a crime, but like, oof, such a baby about it. So which is worse, the original scam or the destruction of the scam? Interesting argument. The original scam. Not even close. Like not even close. Sitting there and selling generated art as if it's real art. Maybe if they were upfront that it was AI generated, if it was in big letters, even if it were that, I personally wouldn't like it, but I would not say the same thing. But I don't think that's never the case. That they don't do that. These people might have. I don't know the context. I will not immediately accuse this exhibition of doing that because I don't know the context. I would say it's very likely that they were not upfront that it was AI. They were selling it for what amounted to $220. So they were not selling it for cheap. Definitely not as cheap as it took for them to produce it. The original scam is so much more, in terms of morally wrong, the original scam, selling AI art and not, I called it AI art. I hate that slip. I take that back. I never call it art. I could do it in there. But selling AI pretending to be art and not being upfront about it, way more morally wrong than eating said AI art. Especially because eating it, destroying the property, is in response to the original scam. So it does give you some more moral credence, and the fact that you're making a statement about it. Like, I think and you didn't hurt anybody. Let's also add that part. That's important. You did not hurt anybody, and the property that you destroyed did not mean anything to anyone except for the sake that they were using it to scam people. Or if the AI generated thing actually meant something to someone, I think they're just kind of delusional at that point. I don't care. This was the wrong way to go about things. This was just unhinged behavior, and no one should be encouraging this. I'm not encouraging it. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't tell them I told you if you go do this, don't be like, hey, my favorite YouTuber told me to do this. I did not. I don't condone this. We disavow. It's very funny, but we disavow. This is the same as vegans throwing red paint at people for wearing animal products or environmentalists throwing super priceless artworks. But you're talking about it. You remember that now. Like, you're proving them right. Dude, the soup at the Van Gogh. The Just Stop Oil, the soup at the Van Gogh. Oh my, it's the same. Like, you're such poor. People are such babies. And the monetary value of the work is irrelevant here, by the way. Fact of the matter is that it was accepted to the gallery and it was labeled. Oh, it was. This person saying it was labeled as AI. This person was saying that they labeled it. That is different. You should, and again, I think if it were labeled, I think you should still protest it. That does change the morality. Like, if it was not labeled as generated, I would absolutely be like, they're like scamming people. But I would not say that if what this person is saying is true, like they read like an extra article or something and it was labeled, then that is true. It is a little worse. Still funny. But now we're criticizing the work would have been the right. But all in all, like, it gets you to talk. Like, if that person just went and argued with the person behind there, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. So I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. The work was literally already critical of AI. It was about how the maker felt like it was addictive. Wait, what? This story is such a rabbit hole. Hold on. Is there more to this? The work was already critical of AI. It was about how the maker felt like it was addictive. Wait, where do they get this? Is there like a full article on this? Problem is the sort of lunatic to leap out and eat a work of art, including AI, is also the sort of lunatic who sees the two letters and looks over everything else in order to fuel their neurotic mindset. That's a loaded response. If it was labeled, that does change things a little. It does change things a little. Like, it might still deserve a protest. Like, we're talking about it. Like, if that actually like meaningfully led to like more anti-AI sentiment getting out there, like, we're all talking about it. This is a pretty big anti-AI story, at least on this subreddit. I mean, it's 63 upvotes. I mean, how big of a deal is it? But it gets out there, and at least it was a chance for it to. Like, is like really eating a piece of paper that like doesn't really mean anything to anyone. If that actually made a positive impact on like the anti-AI stance, then it's totally worth it. Like, it's totally worth it. I'm sorry. Like, no one was hurt, and the property that was destroyed was property that no one would care about. Come on. But I want to know what the actual work is. Student arrested for eating AI art. I already don't like that it calls it art. I don't think you should I think calling AI art is disingenuous. I think that's taking a stance, actually. They might not think that they are because it's a common phrase. Oh, this is a student article. By students for students. On Tuesday, January 13th, the University of Alaska Fairbanks undergraduate student Graham Granger was detained after he'd been found ripping artwork off the walls and eating it in a reported protest, according to the UAF Police Department. Granger was... I gotta get through that laughing. Granger was chewing and spitting out images pinned to the wall. This artwork was made by... They're a student, but like, this is poor framing. I don't think it's intentional on the writer's part. This artwork was made by Masters of Fine Arts student Nick Dwyer in collaboration with artificial intelligence. So that's such disingenuous framing. I don't know if the person who wrote this has an agenda. It's probably just a student who's like in a journalism class, so I'm not going to be too hard on it. And by the way, their writing is like it's good writing like on their part. Like But I would, you know, if I were their teacher, I would say, because if I were their teacher, I wouldn't tell them what stance to take, because that wouldn't be right of me as the teacher. I'd be biased as a teacher. I wouldn't be biased. I mean, I wouldn't be biased as a teacher. If I were their teacher, I would just tell them that when you say the artwork was made by a fine arts student in collaboration with artificial intelligence, I would just let them know that that takes the stance of like pro AI kind of. And it's really like, it's kind of impossible to write an article like this without being biased. It's hard to really write any article without being biased. But this one is really because the specific words that you use, because if you said it the other way around, I guess you could probably word it neutrally. But I think that this is someone who doesn't really understand that this is not worded neutrally, or they want it to not be neutral. Granger claimed that he destroyed the artwork because it was AI generated, according to the report by University Police. Police estimated that at least 57 of the 160 images up on the wall were ruined. Whoa, okay, all right, okay. That is way more than it. Holy 50. Bro ate 50. Wait, bro ate 57 images? Hold up. Hold up. How are you alive? Look at the how big are these? They're like little like Polaroid things. Bro ate 57. Oh my god. Mac from Always Sunny. I'm just picturing Mac from Always Sunny. I am just that is so crazy. He ate. That is so, wait, that is so different. I totally thought it was like 5. So so wait, they might not have been selling it. They might not have been selling it. Yeah, they're tiny pictures. I pictured like my Bolden Brash. I pictured them like this size. And I thought that it was like $50 each. I'm like, so like, okay. And I hope like, because I was just speculating earlier, I don't want to put out, that's why I want to read the thing. The last thing I want to do is ever put out misinformation. I always want people to be informed. That's why I'm like very careful with like my statements and stuff. Because before I was talking about like scam, you know, if you scam someone. And I still say if you did. I didn't accuse this art exhibition of doing this. I just said if that was the case, then it would be this, then that, you know. All ifs, ands, or buts. So 57 of the 160 images up on the wall. Granger was arrested for criminal mischief in the 5th degree and booked at the Fairbanks Correctional Center. He has since been released. Dwyer, the artist. Sorry. I'm being disingenuous. Dwyer, the person who assumed ownership of the property that was destroyed is what I will refer to. Dwyer. Dwyer said that he started using AI in his art around 2018, but had been making art without the use of AI prior to this. In his artist statement for the exhibit that was destroyed, Dwyer says that his work explores identity, character narrative creation, and crafting false memories of relationships in an interactive role, digitally crafted before, during, and after a state of AI psychosis. They were yeah. This person was telling the truth. Wow, this is why it's good to look into stuff, because this does not tell you enough. Let's read the whole thing, though, before I make any other judgments. Dwyer explained that he himself fell into AI psychosis, a troubling new phenomenon defined by the Cognitive Behavior Institute as individuals experiencing psychosis-like episodes after deep engagement with chatbots. After working with AI for many years, he goes on to explain that this highlights and embodies a growing trend that can be dangerous or unpredictable, at which you are not immune to. I want to hear more about this Dwyer guy. When you make art, you become vulnerable, and so the artwork is vulnerable, and that's something that makes it seem more alive or more real in the moment, Dwyer said on Wednesday, reflecting on the prior day's protest. Granger is a student of UAF's Film and Performing Arts program. His court date is scheduled for next Tuesday, January 20th. Man, that's yeah, again, don't do this. Like, I'm saying it's funny. I'm saying it's very funny. I'm saying don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. Like, you're a college student. You're in a film performing arts program. Don't do this to yourself. Like, obviously he's not throwing his life away. Like, he's gonna have to pay a fine. I don't think he's gonna go to prison. Don't do this. If you're someone who's like, you know, militantly anti-AI, like I am, Don't do this. Like, don't do this. Like, I'm making jokes. I think it's funny. Well, I mean, this might be wrong because it might have not been what I thought. But, I'm making jokes. I'm talking about the nuances of it. But really, like, bottom line is, if you are around an art thing and there's AI in there and it makes you mad, don't do this. Don't do anything like this. His court date is scheduled for Tuesday. Like, imagine that. Oh, that was this week. But like, imagine that your court date, you're going to go to court, you're in college. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Not good for you. Not good for you personally. And that's I think the most important takeaway that you should take. Oh, that is so AI generated though. Shadow searching, ChatGPT psychosis, AI generated prints, computer art. And then the images, the ones that weren't like destroyed. Yeah, those are so AI generated images. Like, it is interesting that the guy who like made it is like, he was kind of anti-AI. He was talking about this highlights and embodies a growing trend that can be dangerous. But why put out the images? Oh, wait, is that like an AI girlfriend? It might be an instance of someone showing AI to criticize AI. Which I don't think is right. In fact, this is like, wow, this is like so much more nuanced. I'm so glad we looked more into this. So it'd be like if you wrote a TV show or a movie where the main character has an AI girlfriend. So let's say you wrote like a TV show where the main character has an AI girlfriend. Like, that's the character arc. And the point of the show or the movie is that this character shouldn't have an AI girlfriend because it's not good for you. And that is the statement that the show is trying to make. The most effective way to tell that story would actually be to have an actor improvise a scene with the real ChatGPT as if it's a AI girlfriend. You would have to actually use the AI to argue against the AI. I think that's what I wish I had more information. This is probably all I'm going to get. But I think this person had a belief that they had a AI girlfriend, and this is like, that's why they're like Polaroids. It's like as if it was real to him in the psychosis. I think what this is a lesson in is that you gotta be like, you got to think stuff through. Like, obviously, this person who ate it, again, I think it's funny. I'm making fun of it. But this was not calculated. The person who did this, they were angry. They were unhinged. They saw something that made them mad. And they did an impulsive action. And that's what really happened here. Beyond any sort of statement about anything, that's really what happened here, is that a person felt personally angry at something, as many of us are when we see AI-generated images. And they reacted in a way that was too rash and ended up not really going in the right direction. And they didn't do something good for themselves. They didn't do something good for others. Don't let your anger at things disrupt your own life. That's always the last thing that you should do. Live your own life. Be happy. Enjoy yourself. I think I personally side with the guy who ate it, because if I was making an art piece, I would be so disappointed in myself for using Gen AI. Like, it's counterproductive. Yeah, I don't know if I would allow this if I was a college professor and I was running this. I think, what I would do because first of all, this is like an assignment. Let's also point that out. This is an assignment. Like, you would get graded on this. You don't put stuff, if you're in a college, you wouldn't put something in the art gallery unless it was your assignment. It was a thing you got graded on. So yeah, I guess that's a little unfair to the other students that he generated them. He didn't do art. He didn't do it. He generated it. So that's why as a professor, I would say, no, you can't do that. You can do. You can make a drawing that is not made with AI that represents it. That would be fine. Or you could do, what I would have done? You know what I think would have been fine? And it's the same as what I said about if someone wrote, like if I wrote a TV show or a movie about a guy who had an AI girlfriend, I would have to use I would have to use AI for that in order to probably tell the story. What the professor should have done is should have told them, okay, you can't make the whole exhibit AI stuff. You can't make it a bunch of AI generated images because you're not doing the work as the artist. You're not learning anything about art if you're doing that. You're not doing the assignment. You need to do the assignment. Like, you know, I get it. This is personal to you. This is the project you want to do. Let's work with it. But you got to work with me in my class because my class is about teaching art. So what you can do is you take the generated images that are representative of your AI psychosis and you put them within real art. So that way the real art, the drawing, is like maybe the guy is like looking at the generated one and it's using the generated one. It's framing the generated one in a bad way, and only a way that you could do if you were commenting on what it, because if you drew, if it was all drawn by you, if the part that was supposed to be the generated image was actually drawn by you, that would defeat the purpose because you're not commenting on a generated image anymore. It's kind of like when I went over sponge truths. Like I talked about sponge truths in my anti-AI video, and I had to show sponge truths. You had to listen to it. You had to hear it. That was me showing AI generated content to my audience, AI generated content in my videos. Which means that there's a video of mine that has AI generated content in it, like, you know, but it's only there to criticize it, to criticize the existence of it. And I think that's the only means in which I, as a college professor, would permit it. And I think that was probably this professor's logic with this, but it was just a little flawed. Writing prompts doesn't make you an artist if you're describing it, and not making it, you are the client, not the artist. It's like ordering food and saying you cooked it. I've heard this argument a lot with it's like ordering food and saying you cooked it. I think a main difference with it, I think one problem with this is it's not addressing the root of why AI generation is a problem. It's just saying you can't call yourself an artist, which I don't care as much about that. The point is that you shouldn't use it. And I think the food argument is bad because the food is still cooked by a person. It's still made by a person most of the time. I mean, I guess, is there any way of food to be like fully factory made? Is that a thing? I mean, I guess like candy and stuff, but like you're not the client either. You're not like, it's like the idea of like, oh, if I tell AI to make something, it's the same as if I'm like a producer and I tell a person to write me a script. Like I'm just like the producer. But like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is that the product that comes out doesn't have human intent. That's the issue. Whether or not someone calls himself an artist, whatever. Like, I mean, yeah, they're not, you know, but like, it's not really what matters to me. What about those of us who write prompts and don't feel the need to be called? See, there you go. You just let them get away with it. The top thing. So a normal person. In Reddit, we can't have that. Oh, you're so cringe. You're so cringe. Look at the little GIF. Oh my goodness. Oh. I'm pretty sure Pringles is fully machine made. Yeah, a lot of foods are machine made. It's food, whatever, you know, like it's food. I don't know. I'm not a chef. I'll let other people do. So a normal person in Reddit, we can't have that. Look at the mind blown award. That's the most Reddit exchange ever. So a normal person? No, actually. You write prompts. Well, I mean, like, what about those of us who write prompts and don't feel the need to be called artists? So a person who puts out garbage into the world and just doesn't define themselves by a certain title? Personally, I think it's fine. Maybe at most they could be seen as directors. No, you're not. You're so not. Like, that's exactly what I said. I predicted this, you know, like as soon as I said, like, this is exactly what I just said was the problem. I had a premonition of this. They could be seen as directors. Also, like, that's even more wrong. I meant producers, like producers who like make decisions, like not really trying to argue that prompting is art, but are you really arguing that directors aren't artists? It's not fine, because the problem is that the thing that gets spit out is lacks human intent. And that's the problem, is lacking human intent. Lacking human intent is the issue. If something lacks human intent, that is bad. That is wrong. People get hung up on the fact that user input is natural language and the algorithm receives that as a first step. I am a programmer. No serious programmer would suggest you didn't create software just because an external program took your input and translated it to machine-readable format as output. You didn't commission the compiler. Nobody says you aren't a real programmer just because you didn't manually write each individual bit to memory. It's like saying people who use Java aren't real programmers because it doesn't make you manually manage memory. Natural language is used because people... AI is not sentient. It's an algorithm. It cannot consciously receive instructions and obey them. It takes an input, transforms it, and outputs it. Just like sending code to have it compiled. Just like sending strokes to a graphics. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. So what this person is so wrong about is... Okay, here's the part. What is it? Nobody says you aren't a real programmer just because you didn't manually write each individual bit to memory. Okay, so... I don't know like everything about like a programmer or like what, I don't even entirely know what that means, but I would say that it probably means that putting each bit into a program, programming something would be a lot of busy work to individually do it. However, what this person is saying that like their equivalent of writing each individual bit would be like a painter doing every single brush stroke. That's what they're comparing it to. And that is a problem. That is an incorrect comparison. The problem with that comparison is that when you are a painter, every brush stroke, everything that you do is important. Whereas with a programmer, each individual bit could still make the program work and function because a program is a utilitarian function. It's not a piece of art. A painting is supposed to convey an emotion. It's supposed to convey a story. And every little thing that you do, the way that something smiles, the color that you use, the thing that makes it feel like it's lit a certain way, like it's a certain time of day, the framing, all of these decisions have to be made by a person. And the reason they have to be made by a person is because it requires human intent. If it requires human intent to know which of those decisions is correct because of the three circles that I talked about earlier. Only a person can know what is the right way to do it because an AI will most of the time get it wrong. And obviously right and wrong is subjective in this point, but at the same time, we do know that there are good movies and bad movies, good paintings, bad paintings. We know this because some paintings are in museums that people fly around the world to go see, and some paintings are not. And there is something that artists do right, and a computer will never know what to do right. So saying that each individual bit doesn't matter, it does matter with a brush stroke. It does matter with script writing. A person, doesn't have to be you, a person has to make every single decision about art. If it doesn't, there is something that is going to be missing in that art. And applied across everything, applied across the entire spectrum of the arts, is going to have diminishing returns, is going to make our art weaker. It's going to make the world worse. And that is why I'm against it. So yeah, nobody says you aren't a real programmer just because you didn't manually write each individual bit to memory. Okay. If you don't manually paint every part of the painting, you're not a real painter. If you didn't write every line of your, or if a human didn't write, not if you, because you could have a friend do it. Two people could paint a painting. Two people could write a script. That's fine. If a person didn't write every part of a script, it's not a real script. And I say that as a very subjective, very strong term. I say that because that's where we need to draw the line. Pack it up, guys. Directors aren't artists. See why there's a problem? See why there's a problem? See why it's just a bad argument. And the thing that I'm replying to is a thing that's supposed to be my side. It's just my side arguing poorly. All right, let me explain why this gatekeeper's argument is so fragile. Oh, the framing. Oh, the framing. The framing. Look at this guy. He's built a tiny fenced-in garden called Art, posted a no prompters allowed sign, and is standing guard with a rolled-up copy of Art History 101. Let's just keep going. He's leaning on a cute, simple metaphor. It's like ordering food and saying you cooked it. The problem is his metaphor is wrong. It assumes a binary world, the chef, the real artist, and the customer, the pleb. Is that what it is? Wait, let me see that. The problem is the metaphor is wrong. It assumes a binary world, the chef, the real artist. Let me just move on. I feel like I could. Sure. It assumes a binary world. There's the shit. I guess. It's kind of incoherent, but whatever. But that's not what this is. You're just pointing at a menu. A more accurate version of his own metaphor would be, you're in a kitchen with a supernatural, hyper-obedient chef who has memorized every recipe, technique, and plating style in history. So disingenuous. Thinking that, we got it. We were talking about this full circle. Full circle. They think AI is magic. With a supernatural, hyper-obedient chef. Wait. Hyper-obedient. Oh, man. I didn't even talk about the other part of AI. They think it's magical, and they think it's their slave. That's the other part of AI. Is that people want a thing that obeys them, that they have power over. That's two things. So who has memorized every recipe, technique, and plating style in history? Oh, you really think that that's what AI is? Bro. And that it would know what... Wait. So this supernatural, hyper-obedient chef has memorized every recipe, technique, and plating style in history and can call the exact right one you're thinking of? Or the exact right one you need? You're not saying burger. You're saying, I want a dish that captures the melancholy on a rainy Tuesday in cyberpunk city. Use the color palette of a faded 1970s postcard, but with the texture and lighting of a Dutch Golden Age painting. Make the central subject feel lonely but resilient. Give me 20 variations where we just use the blah, 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 just being hyper specific. Yeah, so they say, you're saying I want a dish. So you're saying I want this. Basically, this is saying I want this thing. All right, so if you know so much about what you want as an artist, you want this rainy Tuesday in Cyberpunk City, you want this color palette, you want Golden Age painting. First of all, that's not you don't have to be this specific. You can just say to an AI, give me this. Like, you don't, like, it's so disingenuous to be like, oh yeah, you got to be like really specific, to act like there's a skill. Even if you were like this specific, even if you know all this stuff, why can't you do it? Use the color palette of faded 1970s postcard. Now use the texture of a Dutch Golden Age painting. Make the subject feel lonely but resilient. Why don't you do it? Oh, you can't? You don't have the skills? Tough. You can't have it then. Like, and you're gonna have this fake thing do it, and you're gonna make the world worse. You're gonna put out something that makes something that's also the supernatural hyper-obedient chef. Like, he's confusing the tool with the creative act. He thinks art lives only in the muscles of the hand holding the brush. He can't conceive that it might live in the vision guiding the process. By his logic, a film director is not an artist because they didn't hold the camera. Oh, no, he's not. And I don't even agree with their statement, but like, that is not what that, by his logic, a film producer isn't an artist. I don't know why they keep defaulting to director. Directors do a lot more than just tell someone to do a thing. It's so weird that they're all defaulting to director. It's just the media illiteracy is rampant. An architect isn't a designer because they didn't lay the bricks. His comment isn't true. It's a nostalgic grumble. It's someone who is defined by a specific set of manual skills watching into the artists have already moved into the new studio. They're exploring this strange no, they haven't, actually. Very few artists, especially professional artists as of right now, are using this stuff. They're actually actively not using it. Probably because a lot of them are trying to see which way the wind is blowing. Not to say that it's some kind of great principled act on our part as humanity. So when he says writing props don't make you an artist, you can hear that he's really saying, your new method of creation doesn't fit my old comfortable categories, and that makes me insecure. Oh. His definition of art is so pretentious. Like, His definition of artist is a cage. Yours is a frontier. Let him polish the cage. You've got worlds to build. Imagine thinking that, like, not learning the actual skills to create is like the freedom. Like, you're in a cage because you're limited to whatever the generation software spits out for you. Like, I think that's more of a cage than someone who has knowledge of how to use a paintbrush. I can't believe a supernatural hyper-obedient chef who was memorized. That's so telling. That is so telling of what people like this think. That is so crazy. This is an amazing quote. And indeed, is a movie director or an architect not an artist? Like, the argument falls apart by the fact that if you have all this theoretical knowledge, you can just do it yourself, even if you don't have the technical skills. It may work perfectly with yours. So a lot of people, you know what? It kind of reminds me of the idea of being a, like, big talker. Like, there are a lot of people out there, especially young people, who have, like, a big idea. It's like, this is going to be my movie, my TV show. And they don't do it because they don't know how. But they say that they have this big idea. And there's actually a psychological thing with this. There is a psychological feeling where when you tell someone about something that you're going to do, so, like, let's say, like, you know, we're hanging out and I'm telling you about, like, a movie I want to write and I haven't written any of it. It's all, you know, it's all up here. You know, we've all had that conversation, right? Sometimes we've been that person, you know, but we've all had that conversation with that guy where, oh, it's all up here. It's all up here, you know? And you're talking to this person and it's all up here. They're saying that when they're talking about this movie that they're writing, or that they want to write, that they have the idea of, when they're telling it to you, they are triggering the same receptors in their brain, the same feelings of reward that would be triggered had they gone and made the whole movie and were at the premiere. The same things are being triggered in their brain. It might be a lot stronger when they actually are at the premiere and accomplish the movie, but it's the same things are being triggered in their brain. I don't know how scientific that is. There's just something I heard once that resonates with me. I'm not going to say that's like science or whatever, but it's a good cautionary tale. And I think that's a lot of what these AI people are, is that they're that person who comes up, who said, because there are people who have these ideas for shows, good ideas for movies, good. Like, actually, you'll sit and talk to them. They will talk to you for hours about their idea. And you'll be like, dude, I would totally watch this. This is so good. And they would have no idea how to write because it's not easy. Because I know this because I was that person. I was that person. The person was me. I would sit, when I was in college, I would sit around with people and I would tell them all about these like crazy ideas that I had. And then I would sit down and try and write it and I had no idea what to do. Now what I did in response to realizing that is I switched my major and I became a writing major and I got my master's degree in writing and now I know how to write. So I know how to actually do that. That's the healthy thing that you should do. But a person like me in that situation could have just gone and done the AI stuff. When I started studying game development, one of the first things we were told is there's no ideas guy. These people think ideas guy is the real position. It's so true. An ideas guy is a person who also knows how to write or knows how to draw or knows how to plan or knows how to do this. Like, it's a person with actual skills. Having the idea is not a skill. It just isn't. It just isn't. Everyone has an idea. So it's depicting a person who says that AI art is okay. Again, their words, not mine. I don't call it AI art. They're saying that it's okay as long as you don't monetize off it with monetize spelled wrong. And the pro AI person pushes the person away and it makes them anti-AI because the pro AI people want to monetize off of it. So the person who made this clearly holds this position. Right? Wouldn't that make sense? That the person who's the reasonable, neutral person, that would be the person who holds this position. So they'd be in the middle. So they probably would want to be. So I guess they're saying they want to be pro AI, but they can't because the pro AI people want to make money off of it. Well, my question to this person, to this position, let's just address this position before we address the whole pushing. AI art is okay as long as you don't monetize off of it. How do you enforce that? How do you enforce that? How do you know? How do you know? The whole point is that you're trying to trick people when you use AI. People would just lie. Imagine that. There's like a law where you can't make money if a thing has AI in it. Hey, like that'd be fine. Like that. I mean, I think they should just ban generative AI altogether. That's the most ideal law. But like, you could, let's say that was a thing. People would just lie. They would just do first draft AI, second draft human, and they'd make it to where you basically can't prove it. This isn't a real position. Because if it's okay as long as you don't monetize off of it, well then it's going to be around and people are going to monetize off of it because they're just going to lie. So the only position you would have if you want people to not make money off of using generative AI is to ban it. It's the only position you can hold in that situation is to ban generative AI. Because as long as it exists, people are going to try and make money off of it. You know, you could try to restrict it, be like, oh, well, like you're just okay with first draft AI, second draft human. Like that's just what you would be saying, which means that you are monetizing off of using generative AI. So now I'd like the pushing thing. So this person is claiming that if you make this person who's pro AI is going to push you into anti-AI. So this implies that anti-AI people are okay with this, which is charitable to anti-AI people, which I guess there's some I don't speak for everyone who's anti-AI, but I don't think that. Like, I wouldn't catch this person. Like, of course I'd catch a person if they were going to fall. But I mean, like, metaphorically, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, like, come argue with me. I wouldn't consider you on my side if you say AI generated something is okay. That's not my position. I am against that position. I do not think anything that starts with AI art is okay. I don't care what the but is. It's not okay. As long as people clearly state that the product they're selling was made with AI, I don't mind it. Well, I do, actually. I think I do. Like, I don't think that this is the whole like informed buyer. Is it a fallacy? Is that a fallacy? I think it's a logical fallacy. I don't know off the top of my head. Sounds like a logical fallacy, but I think it's okay. So I think this is a very similar line of thinking to the whole like gotcha games and online gambling, which is basically the idea of like, oh, well, like these things state what they are. So like, oh, well, you know, but I think what people are ignoring with stuff like online gambling and gotcha games is that I don't think it's good that there are people who make money off of things that are bad and make the world worse. Like, this doesn't address. So as long as people clearly state the product they're selling was made with AI, I don't mind it. Okay, let's say that was a rule. Let's say that was a rule that you could magically enforce, because you can't enforce that rule. People would just lie, again, because people would be less likely to buy a thing that has a big AI generated over it. They'd be less likely to buy it, so people would try to lie. Regardless, let's say you magically enforced that rule, and there were people out there who did not care, and they would buy a thing that had generated stuff in it. They would watch a movie that did it. You're still getting the diminishing returns on everything. You're getting diminishing returns on paintings, on arts. You would slow it. You would positively affect it. It's better than nothing, you know? But I wouldn't say that that's like the end point where it's like, oh yeah, we just want to get to a point where you have AI, but you just have to like put a thing on it. I don't think, I want it gone. I want it to not be allowed to exist. That is the end goal for me. And that is what I would continue to fight for, even if that doesn't happen in my lifetime. There's really no point where I'll give up on that. That could take 200 years, you know? The problem with this is that, it's like a personal choice idea of like, oh, like it only affects the person who buys it and the person who sells it. Well, first of all, now the person who sells it is now making money off of not doing real work. I don't think that if you generate something and then sell it, I don't think that that is a legitimate way to make money. I don't think that that is something that should be a part of our economy. Like it's like the sponge truths thing. Like, I don't think that just going in and generating SpongeBob scripts and having a fake voice do it, I don't think that that is a thing that provides value. So I don't think that you should get money for it. Just like how I don't think that you should get money for owning an online gambling app, or you should get money for owning a predatory gacha game. Like, there's someone out there who is filthy rich. That's their whole life. That is what paid for their house, is that. While we all work, you know, with whatever we work on. So that's one problem, is that there's people who are now just going to be lazy and they're going to profit off of these loopholes in life to just generate images and get money. You see those videos, how to make generated TikTok of r/mi, all that sort of stuff. Do you really want that to be a part of our economy? That's what some people get to make money off of? Like, is that really what we want? And then there's also just diminishing returns. You're just diminishing art as a whole. Art does not exist in a vacuum. It all exists within itself, or it all exists as a media landscape. We've heard this term before, media landscape. If you have AI in the media landscape gets worse. We have less human intent in the arts. Less human intent in the arts is bad, because the social function of the arts is to share perspectives. And if there's AI, that means that we're sharing fewer perspectives, which leads to a less thoughtful and less empathetic population. So those are the main consequences that come from this. So I don't need your, oh, well, like, yeah, as long as people are informed. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. I'm pretty sure people won't be open to state that their product was made using AI, obviously. Note how people removed the Sora watermark as soon as they could. People don't want to refer to their work as AI, and don't want it to be labeled as such. They want it to be indistinguishable as possible from meme ones. The majority of people don't want to state their product is being made using AI because of the backlash. Oh, so disingenuous. Oh, they're only lying because you're going to be mean to them. Edit, holy, I'm not defending AI use. I'm pointing out that the backlash is the reason people hide in the first place. It's so not. It's so not. It's so not. The backlash. Yeah, and the backlash is deserved. Like, so, like, but it's not the backlash. It's because you want to trick people. Monetizing is okay if they disclose it. If I buy art that someone claims is hand-drawn, I put blah, blah. Again, if they disclose it, how do you regulate that? You know that people can lie. Are people this not aware that people lie? Are we too I thought that people were like really untrustworthy. Like, isn't that like a bigger problem, that like we don't like trust our neighbors or anything, and we're all like really paranoid all the time? Why are these people so trusting? Oh, well, like, they're gonna disclose it. This is actually a fair take. Oh my God, how do these people put their pants on? Real AF. I'm this meme, except both sides are beating me because I recognize AI as a valid art medium and see its potential, but at the same time I see its glaring issues and advocate for better regulation. What regulation then? If you those things are so mutually exclusive. Like, what? Maybe that person just doesn't understand, like maybe this person actually thinks a lot more along the lines of what I do, but just doesn't really understand the deeper difference. I'm curious. Oh, okay, cool. We got a response. I'm curious, what part of AI do you think is a valid art medium? All of it. Never mind. This person does not. I do not agree. I'm this meme, except both sides beat me up because I recognize AI as a valid art medium and see its potential. Oh, valid art medium. I missed that when I said that. This person might agree with me. And see its potential. But at the same time, I see its glaring issues and I advocate for better regulation. What parts do you think are valid? Oh, all of it. So what regulation? What regulation then? All of it. All of it's fine, I guess. I think any form of self-expression equals art. Me when I don't know how hard it is to actually make art. I mean, sure. Like, I mean, any form of self-expression equals art. I can't consider anything made with AI art. I won't do it. It requires human intent. And I think that remains the case if you outsource part or most of the work. So this is the common problem. It's a misunderstanding of the importance of human intent in the art. Not having an idea of, again, if everyone understood the 3 circles, they would not say stuff like this. This would not be a thing. So if I print a picture off the internet and hand it to you and say, this is so me for real, have I engaged in self-expression? Yes. Have I created something? No. I impose my feelings on someone else's creation. That's not making art, that's just consuming art. That's what using generative AI is. It's a description that you decide to impose feelings on without a creative hand, and at best, an infamous level worse. I probably don't agree with everything this person says, but yeah, it's a decent comparison. Probably because that's not a neutral position to hold. There's no reason people shouldn't be able to profit off of their own art. Let people decide for themselves. Oh, this is a pro AI. I thought that was going to be anti-AI by saying it's not a neutral position. So they're literally that person. So we do have a real example of this red guy. That's them. They're the red guy. There's no reason people shouldn't be able to profit off of their own art. Let people decide for themselves. This free market, oh, whatever, no regulation, all that. It's probably not a satisfactory position for people opposing AI either, since they still consider a loss for artists if potential clients or companies use AI instead of making it. Oh, true. Exactly. Yeah. This person, I think they were a previous commenter, so I probably disagree with them, but they are correct on that. At least understanding the other side. This is the person who said that they didn't like that there was politics. Really? I'm extremely pro AI. Yeah. Go figure. But I feel like monetization is corny. Okay. You're pro AI. But how do you regulate it? You're pro AI, but you don't want people to monetize it. How do you stop them? You can't. I also believe people turning to AI just to run a grift or continue to flame places. Yeah, and how do you actually stop it? Is someone going to challenge that? You can't be pro AI and tell people how to use their AI. If people want to use their AI to make money, that's fair play. Nobody should dictate what others do and don't do. Wow. You know what's funny? I actually, I know this person's pro AI, but I agree with them. Yeah. You can't be pro AI and, not tell people like they're saying, but I'm saying from a logical perspective, from an actual policy perspective. Yeah, if you are pro AI, they're gonna use it to make money. You're not gonna stop it. You can't be pro gun and tell people how to use their gun. Why not? The AI thing is impossible to regulate if you allow it. You can definitely be pro-gun and have a idea of where, concealed carry or all that sort of stuff. So I don't think it's a one-to-one. Okay, but then I wonder if you would also hold the stance if people use AI to generate, say, explicit content that you would find disagreeable for their own consumption. If you're actually taking a no restrictions and no regulations stance more generally, then I respect that. But if you just said you were pro-AI, this is going to happen. If generative AI is around, you will not stop it. You will not stop it. It will not happen. This will happen as long as generative AI is around. People will find ways to hack into it, to make it. There are going to be dark web ones. It's gonna happen. And also, in the case of the Grok thing, they're gonna encourage it. They want it. Whether or not they want it because it would make them money, or they want it because they actually want the nefarious things to happen. I think it's the latter. Well, I think it's a little bit of both. The only way to say that you don't want AI to generate, say, explicit content that you would find disagreeable, the only way for that to not happen, ban generative AI is the only way to stop it. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the full stream videos, click on the right. Or if you want to see my scripted content, click on the left. See you next time.